And More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
1819 News.
A state lawmaker is ready to introduce legislation following the fake kidnapping claims by Carly Russell of Hoover. State Senator April Weaver says she'll introduce a bill in the 2024 legislative session that makes it a felony crime to fake an abduction. Weaver says she's already spoken with law enforcement and state and local prosecutors about how best to write this bill. Weaver is responding to the July 13th headline that Carly Russell had been kidnapped after she pulled over to the side of a highway due to a young toddler running alongside the road. That whole story turned out to be fabricated. Russell admitted to the hoax publicly and is now facing misdemeanor charges. Weaver says her bill will include prison sentencing and mandatory restitution requirements in cases of a false abduction claim. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Do you believe in the rights of parents to educate their children? If so, join 1819 News for an evening with author and political commentator James Lindsay on August 25th at Oak Mountain Brewing Company in Pelham, as he and other guests discuss how to stop the government's attempts to indoctrinate and control your children. Tickets are available for a limited time, so visit 1819news.com and click events. That's 1819news.com.
The Lauderdale County Sheriff's Office has seized more than 200 pounds of liquid meth from a residence in the city of Florence. 4 men have now been arrested, 3 of them located in the state of Arkansas. Those 3 will be extradited back to Alabama to face multiple drug trafficking charges. Police say that the 25 gallons of liquid meth has a street value of $2 to $3 million. Schools in Alabama are starting up as early as August 2nd, which is this week, but most will be starting next week, and a few schools even further into the month of August. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Had plenty to get to today, especially with all the Bidens, that's plural, legal woes are caught in a big lie. Plenty on that. And a lot of Alabama stories, especially the Biden administration's decision not to put SpaceCOM in Huntsville. They're going to keep it in Colorado despite all sorts of, well, good reasons to keep it here in Alabama, not just leave it there in Colorado. But without further ado, as is tradition now, on Tuesdays, we have Judge Andrew Napolitano on the Zoom or the StreamYard. He's on the live stream. Judge, how are you?
I'm great, Joey, my friend. Thanks for having me on. How are you?
Doing quite well. And I first want to start by saying I thought your interview with Governor Chris Christie was excellent yesterday and a lot of good detail, but it brought this basic question to mind. You, correct me if I'm wrong, have a lot of friends that don't agree with you politically, I'd imagine. And how do you maintain friendships despite how nasty the politics is these days?
You know, I learned a long time ago, you have to have friends on both sides of the aisle. One of the great preachers of that was, of all people, Roger Ailes, who encouraged us to have friends with our colleagues at other networks, even colleagues with whom we disagreed. I remember going down to visit Roger once, and who did I see walking out of his office? Rachel Maddow. Now there's a combination, Roger Ailes and Rachel Maddow. And he made me promise not to repeat it. Of course, he's no longer with us. I don't feel bound by the promise, but I have always had friends with whom I disagree politically, partially because it's tough for me to find anyone that I fully agree with politically.
Right. I'm very much with you there. And it gives us a weird neutrality being the libertarians we are.
Yeah, and in the case of Governor Christie, I mean, he and I have been friends since my early days on the bench, and before he was even involved in politics, when he was a lawyer trying cases in northern New Jersey. And we've stayed friends, even though I've had some harsh things to say about his politics, and he said some harsh things to say about what I said about him, but we've stayed friends.
Well, and I've been trying to maintain for years now this idea that came to me when I had some pretty tragic times. The personal trumps the political. It's not the personal is the political. I think it eclipses all the things we might argue about, and maybe that could get us on the right path and get us to, well, actually common ideals again. And your op-ed from last week, Judge, has liberty died in our hearts? You get into this potential renewal of 702, as well as the abuse of the program, but you make this deeper point that you start with this quote that no law, no constitution could actually keep somebody's liberty alive unless they want that liberty alive and burning in their heart.
The quote is from a very famous federal judge in New York City named Learned Hand. Liberty lies in our hearts, and when it dies there, no law, no constitution, no court can save it. No law, no constitution, no court can even do very much to help it. Because the government's appetite for our liberty is voracious. And unless we aggressively resist that appetite, we will lose our liberty. So the flashpoint here is a federal judge revealing that the FBI illegally spied on 278,000 Americans in 2022. Crickets, not on the front page of the newspapers, not on Fox News, not a major source of debate, not a condemnation by anybody except a few libertarians and a few progressives, because I suspect the government has so trashed the Constitution that liberty has died in our hearts, that we expect the government to cut holes in the Constitution, that we are no longer outraged when this happens. Section 702 of the FISA law is a George W. Bush era and George W. Bush creature, which allows the federal government to spy on foreign persons in America. What happens when they pick up conversations with foreign persons and Americans? Before we even get to that, is there some exception in the Fourth Amendment to foreign persons? Of course not. Spying and surveillance is a search and a seizure, and all searches and seizures require search warrants. Americans, foreigners, good people, bad people, people the government likes, people the government hates, people the government fears. The Fourth Amendment protects everyone. Congress has taken the position that it can refine and define the Fourth Amendment. It can't. And it enacted this Section 702. So when the FBI or the NSA comes upon communication that it obtained without a warrant because one of the communicants is a foreigner and the other communicant is an American, that's supposed to go into a database, and it should only be accessed by a search warrant. The FBI doesn't bother getting search warrants. They go into that database whenever they want. So in 1 year, last year, 2022, they went into that database 278,000 times without a search warrant, without probable cause, without articulable suspicion, on a fishing expedition. All the things that the Fourth Amendment was written to prevent them from doing. And there is no outrage. 3 people of the 278,000 are public officials, at least 3. A U.S. senator who has been told and has not outed herself or himself, a state senator, and a state judge. What did the state judge do? How did he get in there? He saw local police violating the civil rights of people outside of his courtroom. He complained to the police chief. They told him to take a hike. He complained to the prosecutors. They told him to take a hike. He complained to the FBI. What did the FBI do? Spied on him. Man, enough is enough. Do your job.
Right. And, folks could always say, well, we're just bad-mouthing the FBI, but it's almost like people want to catch Christopher Wray with a gun in his hand and somebody with bullet holes lying on the ground. Oh, then we can say the FBI is corrupt. But when they do these little intrusions that are, again, intrusions on people's liberty, they don't even have to go for it. It creates this chilling effect, right, across the board.
Yes. The chilling effect is when people think twice about exercising their expressive liberties, speech, association, religion, even silence, because of fear that the government will surveil and make use of it. What happens if the government wants to use this evidence that they got on these 278,000 people in a criminal prosecution? The government knows it has this information illegally. Do the 278,000 people know who they are? No, they don't. And they'll never know who they are unless the feds prosecute them for something and reveal where they got it. They can't use it in the prosecution, but they might inadvertently. These things do happen where the feds inadvertently reveal things. They might inadvertently reveal that they have it. But what terrifies me even more than what the FBI has done is that there is no outrage, that liberty may the love of liberty may very well be dying in our hearts, Joey.
Well, and that's what I worry about. And just as a quick follow-up to that, and it's I'm of a split mind on this, and it's such a meta question, I think it's fine for me not to have a solid answer. But I know your friend, for instance, Colonel McGregor, Doug McGregor, thinks a great calamity is what's going to change this country. It's probably the only thing that's going to change the country for the better. I heard Glenn Beck, of all people, giving a speech the other day where he talked about a Chinese Christian, and she told him, I pray constantly for America. He's like, well, what do you pray for? Is it for y'all to be humbled? And, you know, there are other camps that say, hey, no, the American people still have this love of liberty. They're still dynamic if you set them free. Where do you think you land on this spectrum?
I think not in my lifetime, but maybe in yours or your children or grandchildren, the country will fall like an overripe apple and break away into numerous republics. You know, the Northeast, the Southwest, the Southeast, etc. Like-minded states will become independent countries because the debt is intolerable. The loss of liberty is intolerable. The constant wars are intolerable. So I guess I'm sort of with Beck. I'm predicting a calamity. It doesn't necessarily have to be violent. I mean, the old Soviet Union fell without a shot being fired. America is an empire, and empires just can't last by continually going into debt and continually fighting war and continually trying to tell other countries how to live.
Well, and it's a rough time, and I still have hope, though. I think maybe we have to go through that crucible in order to actually be tested again. And again, folks, we're talking to Judge Andrew Napolitano. You can always go to judgenap.com to catch his op-eds out every Thursday, and it's all over the place, too, shared all over the world. But also Judging Freedom. You can watch on YouTube. That's where I usually watch. Folks, what do you got coming up on Judging Freedom today?
Well, I am a guest on the great Alex Jones at 2 o'clock Eastern. I don't know what Alex wants to talk about, but you know, when he books you, he books you for an hour, and it's like everything under the sun. I mean, it's a hoot. So I'm
Judge, let me tell you, they have interdimensional aliens. They're communing with them through ayahuasca and DMT under UCLA. Maybe that's
Very
what he
good.
wants to talk about.
That's a great imitation, Joey. I never heard you do that before.
I usually spare my guests my impersonation.
I have Matthew Ho, young former Marine captain and State Department official, who's bemoaning the fact that CIA, MI6, Great Britain leadership, German leadership, American leadership are all saying the same thing in unison and in uniform. Biden has lost the war. And not only is it not true, but it's fascinating that they're all saying it at the same time. They began this about 3 or 4 days ago. It's very interesting that this mantra is their next phase, as if this is going to change things. I say Biden lost the war. They're saying Putin lost the war. Forgive me. That as if this is going to change things on the battlefield. And then I think I have Larry. I think we're waiting to work this out. Larry Johnson and Ray McGovern with a 3-way conversation amongst the three of us on similar topics.
Well, folks, Judging Freedom is must watch, but we still got a little time here. So, you know, based on the first part of our conversation, you can maybe call these topics the rotten fruits of this tree that we're living under right now. We could start with the Bidens, and I think a good way to start is with what happened with the Hunter Biden plea deal last week.
Well, it's obvious that the lawyers did not communicate fully with each other. In my career on the bench, Joey, I've probably taken about 1,500 guilty pleas, and I would say about 15% of them collapse in the courtroom because it turns out that the government didn't know everything about the defendant or the defendant didn't know everything about the government's case. So when the judge said to Hunter Biden himself, now, before you enter these guilty pleas, do you know they can still prosecute you for other things? And he said, well, no, they can't. They've agreed that this is it. And the prosecutor said, well, yes, we can. We still have 2 active investigations. And defense counsel said, well, you told me this was a universal settlement of everything. So obviously they hadn't communicated. Then the judge herself said, before you enter this pretrial diversionary program on the gun charge, the gun statute might be unconstitutional. This might not be a crime. The crime is possession of a weapon by a habitual drug user. The framers used hemp on a regular basis, and they carried their weapons wherever they went. So the law is that the gun rules today have to reflect what they meant when the Second Amendment was ratified. So she raised all these issues, and she said, don't make a big deal out of this. This stuff happens. Go back to your offices and work it out. The defendant is entitled to know all the likely and probable charges against him before he enters into a guilty plea for any of them. And the government is entitled to know everything it needs to know about the defendant before it agrees to let him off the hook. Now, I say let him off the hook. These tax charges are misdemeanors. He has already paid the taxes. People saying he's getting a slap on the wrist. Most people are not even prosecuted for this. Once you pay the tax, you pay the fine, you pay the penalty, you pay the interest, the government couldn't care less. They just let you go about your normal life. So the people who say he's getting off easy because his name is Biden, I say he's being prosecuted because his name is Biden.
I would say from the Devon Archer testimony, and I guess everybody, for partisan reasons, is characterizing it in one way or the other. But from that testimony, I think it would be rich if on a tax misdemeanor and these gun charges, you could also get immunity from, say, a violation of FARA standards.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Biden, the young Biden, apparently thought he was getting some kind of immunity. Right. FARA is the statute that requires you to register as a federal agent. So when he was making money from Burisma and representing Burisma, was Burisma owned by the Ukraine government? Good question. And if it was, did that make him an agent of the Ukraine government? And did he fail to register? I think the government doesn't know because Burisma doesn't exist anymore. I don't think the government knows that Burisma was owned by a foreign government. So they have to resolve that, and whether they can prove that before they can charge him with the failure to register.
Well, and at this point, it's the de facto 51st state, so I guess it's not that foreign anymore.
Correct. Correct. It's not only the de facto 51st state, it's the State Department's battering ram. They think they can use this battering ram to drive Vladimir Putin from office.
And then before I let you go, Trump. More charges were dropped, more coming. We don't have too much time here, so take that where you want to take it with Trump and his latest legal woes.
Well, the charges that are coming are January 6th. It would take me a while to analyze them, especially since I haven't seen them, since they haven't been revealed yet. But what was revealed last Thursday afternoon, in my opinion, is devastating to the former president. This is such an overwhelming case. The government has to prove that he knowingly retained these documents and intended to keep them and knew he shouldn't have had them. The government shows intent by showing a cover-up. The government now has evidence on videotape of documents being hidden and people moving them around. So the FBI, when they served the search warrant on his house, couldn't find them. Bingo, there's your intent. Very, very bad for him. He shouldn't be making light of it, and he shouldn't be taunting the prosecutor. This is a case with overwhelming evidence against him. Overwhelming, well beyond what is needed to convict.
Well, and what a remarkable time as he continues to be leading in the polls. Biden is still the front runner because he's the incumbent president, and yet both have all these crap storms. I almost said the other thing, swirling around them.
Yes.
What a time. And I always appreciate your time, Judge. Until next week, I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Joey. Pleasure to be on with you. All the best, my friend. Oh, did you have Senator Tuberville on last week?
Yes, I did. Yeah. And I gave him your best and said that you love his stand.
Thank you. And he's not going to back down. And that thing, we really need a space force. I think Trump got a vision and a dream about it, but whatever. That thing will be in Huntsville because that's where all the gear is. That's where all the equipment is. That's where all the expertise is.
Well, yeah, they passed all sorts of basic tests, a lot of different tests the bureaucracy put them through, and Alabama, Huntsville was number one, and yet Biden made the decision. I guess, though, you should ask Doug McGregor the next time you have him on, do the latest ISR strike capabilities require sacrificing a few babies to work properly? Isn't it called the Ball program or the Murdoch? Yeah, It's just ridiculous.
I know that sounds snarky, but if your listeners know what you're talking about, and I suspect they do, you're right on the mark. Right on the mark. Why is the military slaughtering babies?
Yeah. Well, on that dour note, I always appreciate your time, Judge. Thank you, sir.
Love you, Joey. All the best.
Again, folks, that's Judge Andrew Napolitano. Fantastic having him on the program. Eddie, how you doing today?
Doing good. A little hangry, but I'm all right.
And Sky Mosley, how you doing?
Wonderful, Joey. Glad to be here.
Yeah, always.
It's a beautiful day.
It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. Were you co-hosting with Amy Beth Shaver when I drove in?
When you arrived, yes, we were.
How is Abs?
We got rid of Scott Beeson for a little while.
Oh, good deal.
Gave Amy Beth a chance. She's great. She's wonderful.
I like those folks, though. They're good people.
Yeah, they are.
And you're doing a great job there on the
Thank you
show.
very much.
Just wanted to say that. And so, Eddie, you got to leave early, right?
Yep.
What time?
Probably about 20 after 1, about an hour from now.
Thought you said 1:40.
That's what time I go to see.
Oh, that's the appointment time.
Yes.
What do you got to do?
It's time for my annual physical, Joey. And when you become a man of a certain age.
What's wrong with the physical? You don't like to call?
It's not your typical, like what used to be the truck driver physical or sports physical. This one is, it's
more invasive?
Yeah.
What do you mean invasive?
Like
invasive.
They're going to
give you a shot?
Invasive is what I mean.
I got it.
They give you a shot? Wait, do you get it? What is he talking about, Scott?
Joey, when you become...
It's time to break out the old rubber glove.
Right,
Oh,
about
no.
40 or more, they start, hey, we got to check your prostate, which is really important. But it doesn't mean you look forward to it.
Have you reached pro status?
Oh, man, yeah. This
I wonder
happened...
what was wrong with him. Yeah.
I become a man of that age when I worked out at the Hyundai, and this become great talk between people of that age of how the different styles doctors have, I guess would be the nicest way to put it.
The way you're talking, your speaking pattern, you kind of sound like a trauma victim. We had at Hyundai, we had to do the...
I'll go ahead and tell you, the ride home is a little bit rough. There might be some tears involved. But when you get home, you kiss your wife and you go take a shower. And then when you get out of the shower, you watch some football, some hunting, maybe do a little fishing.
Eddie.
Yeah.
Go throw a ball with the dog.
You're overthinking all this, man.
I've been overthinking it for a while, buddy.
He's thinking about it all night. Just all night. Like fever dreams of that moment. Just, I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it.
You're young enough now, Joey. Start finding you a Korean doctor. They have the smaller hands.
I have a Jamaican doctor.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Well, she's a lady. She's a lady doctor.
Okay.
See? Come on.
Oh, you thought it through.
See, no, you didn't.
It's cool, man.
No, you didn't.
What? Wait, Grace Jones is practicing medicine now? I don't know if she's Jamaican. That's just what I imagine.
She's all right.
Oh, goodness gracious. How about this? Let's hit a break. We'll reset the dial here and be right back. More news and views in the afternoon after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
This is Evan Bass for Montgomery Men's Health, and I've been helping men with low testosterone issues for over a decade. I've seen firsthand how low testosterone sneaks up on you, often so slowly that you just get used to all the issues that come along with being low T. If you're experiencing a low sex drive, if your energy just isn't what it used to be, if you're gaining unwanted fat or have issues with muscle gain in the gym, you very well may have low testosterone. At Montgomery Men's Health, we've successfully treated many men for low T, and the results can be life-changing. Many of our patients start putting on muscle again when they work out. They find they have more energy, they sleep better, and their sex lives often improve as well. So make an appointment today and see if low T therapy can make the difference for you. Your first appointment is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult with testosterone lab results in minutes. Call 334-440-3663. That's 334-440-3663 or go to montgomerymenshealth.com.
Looking for a new career with flexible hours, competitive pay, generous paid time off, and countless benefits? Then visit us at our job fair for the Riverside Marketplace at Wind Creek, Wetumpka from 2 to 7 p.m. on Tuesdays, August 15th and 22nd, and Thursday, September 7th at the Entertainment Center. Can't make it? No problem. You can also visit our Career Center at Wind Creek, Wetumpka from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. Kickstart your new career today.
Hey, we're talking to Tammy. Tammy, why does everybody loves Mama's Produce?
Goodness, there's a whole lot of reasons to love Mama's Produce. We got ice cream. Man, have we got some fresh peas. We've got fresh limas. We've got watermelons, tomatoes. There's a whole lot of reasons to love Mama. We're at 1154 South Memorial Drive in Prattville. It's about a half a mile south of the Midtown McDonald's, attached to Prattville Farm Center and right across from Kick Enterprise. Yep, we close at 5:30 Monday through Friday and Saturday at 2. Everybody loves Mama's.
Next contestant. Honey, you look confused. What's wrong?
I'm having a hard time remembering to take my medications like I'm supposed to. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to worry you.
I'm glad you told me, because I heard that Adams Drugs has a medicine on time service that will package your monthly medications and make them easier to manage. Our neighbors, Bill and Leslie, mentioned the other day that they use Adams and how they have made it so easy for them to manage their medications.
Do you think we can call Adams Drugs? Or go by there and see if they can help me? I don't want to get to the point where you have to put me into an assisted living home.
Why don't you get your medications together right now, and let's go down to Adams and talk to the pharmacist.
How much does the medicine on time service cost?
I asked Bill that same question, and he told me it's a free service for Adams customers.
Free? Wow, I'm feeling really good about this already. Let me grab my meds list.
Call Adams Drugs Medicine on Time for your pharmacist consultation. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for more information on our Medicine on Time packaging service.
And Doug. With Liberty Mutual, you can customize your car insurance to save hundreds. Here's what those savings sound like in dollar bills. Here's what it sounds like in quarters. And here's what that sounds like in cryptocurrency, a thing I totally understand. 1010, I am money, cha-ching, beep boop, $sign.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com. Savings may vary, underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates, excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty. O'Reilly.
O'Reilly Auto Parts' new Brake Best Select Pro brand raises the bar for the best aftermarket domestic brake pads and rotors available. For vehicle-specific friction formulations, Quiet-Tech noise-canceling shims, and stainless steel hardware, choose Brake Best Select Pro. Professional-grade brakes from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Vader is here.
In the house.
How you doing, Eddie?
I'm doing well. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. Scott Mosley also here. How you doing, Scott?
Yeah, got Eddie cheered up a little bit there.
I feel a little better, but still.
Well, I played him that Kojak clip earlier, and I think that helped a little too.
Well, obviously, I'm not the only person that's going through this. Somebody just texted me and said they're on their way home now to cry in the shower.
And so they don't put you under for this. You are
No.
wide awake.
No, we ain't going under for this. No.
And so what is it like?
No, it's a single. It's a single.
Oh, okay.
No donkey punching. It's,
All right.
It's a single.
For those of you watching on the live stream, you could have saw what I was throwing down there. And then, of course, the big news today, folks. Let's check it out. Alabama's federal delegation blast Biden's decision to keep SpaceCOM
Correct.
in Colorado Springs. On Monday, the Biden administration announced the headquarters for SpaceCOM will remain in Colorado, reversing a Trump-era decision to move the HQ to Huntsville. Former President Trump picked the Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville as the new permanent home for SpaceCOM. The arsenal has since repeatedly ranked at the top of the list of potential locations for SpaceCOM over its current location in Colorado. In May, NBC News reported that 2 unnamed U.S. officials and 1 official with the U.S. Department of Defense said Biden had been delaying the decision on SpaceCOM due to Alabama's quote-unquote restrictive abortion laws, which went into effect June the 24th, 2022, following the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Huntsville has repeatedly been ranked the number one choice for Space Command by the U.S. Air Force surveys. On Monday, staff and federal officials blasted the decision to keep SpaceCOM in Colorado, reaffirming that Huntsville remains the best choice. U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville has run afoul of the administration for blocking DoD nominees until it reverses its policy funding traveling abortion costs for service members who live in states with abortion restrictions. Tuberville said the move was shameful, especially since the Senate just recessed, having passed next year's defense budget, the NDAA. The top 3 choices for SpaceCOM headquarters were all in red states: Alabama, Nebraska, and Texas, Tuberville said. Colorado didn't even come close. This decision to bypass the 3 most qualified sites looks like blatant patronage politics. Yeah, because it is. And it sets a dangerous precedent that military bases are now to be used as rewards for political supporters rather than for our security. United States Senator Katie Britt also criticizes the decision in a statement, calling it, quote, a blatant prioritization of partisan political considerations at the expense of our national security, military modernization, and force readiness is a disservice and a dishonor to his oath of office as our nation's president.
Amen.
I mean, so many folks got in on this, folks. President Biden has irresponsibly decided to yank a military decision out of the Air Force's hands in the name of partisan politics, Britt continued. Huntsville finished first in both the Air Force's evaluation phase and selection phase, leaving no doubt that the Air Force's decision to choose Redstone as the preferred basing location was correct purely on the merits. That decision should have remained in the Air Force's purview. Instead, President Biden is now trying to hand the gold medal to the 5th-place finisher. And, of course, Gary Palmer got in on the action. Dale Strong from the Huntsville area, very outspoken about this. Mike Rogers, and our congressman here in this area, Barry Moore, said, quote, in the Department of Defense's own merit-based process, Huntsville, Alabama was chosen as number 1, Colorado number 5. It is disappointing but not surprising that the Biden administration has chosen to prioritize partisan politics over national security, and they all are pretty much saying the same thing.
Yeah, because they're correct.
And
right, exactly.
Also, a quick point. This came out yesterday evening, if I can find it here.
It's nothing more than retribution.
That's exactly what it is.
You never go outside the
Biden
family.
That's right.
If y'all can see there on the screen, Katie Britt, Senator Britt, is recovering after a weekend hospitalization. Apparent sudden onset facial numbness. They said it might have been post a viral infection. So get well soon, Senator.
Oh, for sure.
Let's go to the phones and talk to Clint. Hey, Clint, how you doing?
Good day, guys.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, bud.
Yeah. I wish I could have asked the judge a question.
Mm-hmm.
What would you have asked?
Next time you talk to the man, Mr. Clark, ask him, why has not this president, this so-called president, so-called commander-in-chief, has not been charged with tyranny, treason, espionage, and fraud?
Because that's what the government does.
Right.
Clint.
He has committed all 4. And you could probably add a couple more on that.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, no doubt.
Oh, we're going to get into all the details. The reason he hasn't is because he's protected. He's been part of that big club, and you ain't in it. And he's been part of that big club for a while.
None of us
And-
are in it.
No. And Coach Tuberville, I'm behind him 100%. Yeah. Do what you're doing, young man.
Well,
he's doing a good job for Alabama.
Yes, he is.
You know why Biden ain't going to help Alabama? I mean, moving from Colorado to Huntsville, Biden ain't going to move nothing to a red state. It ain't going to happen. You know?
Well, of course.
Ain't going to happen, Joey.
Ain't going to happen.
Ain't going to happen.
Ain't going to happen. All right, guys. Have a good day.
See you, brother man.
Well, and when are folks in deep red states like Alabama, Texas, and the like going to learn that when you take federal money, there's going to be strings attached? And even if it's not a formal process, informally, if you don't toe the line with the latest, say, progressive opinion, even though it's hardly the majority of the population, you're a bad person. In fact, that's the rule, folks. Unless you let the Democrats win, you're a bad person. And if you continue to push back and say, actually, no, I'm the good person, you're the bad person, they might invade and bomb you and kill you. And I don't even mean here in this country. But seriously, they act like we're on the right side of history. How many millions of lives have you yahoos, Democrats and Republicans alike, upended? How many millions of lives? How many hundreds of thousands of people have you killed in the name of spreading democracy like some colossus around the globe? So at the end of the day, if you want to have nice military assets, you just got to play ball. Red states need to just drop their values and get with the program. The federal government is supreme, not the Constitution. And, of course, political people are going to make political decisions.
Lick that boot.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Again, you need to have late-term abortion in order for your latest ISR strike capabilities to be effective.
Right. Clearly.
Bull crap. Steaming bull crap. Let's go to Papa B. Hey, Papa B.
Papa B.
Hey, Papa B. Yeah, so I guess, briefly about Tuberville, the whole deal is each and every one of the people that are up for promotion can get promoted. They can get promoted, but they just can't get promoted in mass.
Right. They can't do it all at one time.
Exactly.
Can't do it all at one time, which is what the Biden administration, we want all these woke folks promoted all at once.
Exactly
they don't
right.
Want to wait.
Exactly
They don't want
right.
to go through the process. So, that's kind of what it boils down to. Why can't we just stamp our feet and have our way and blame it? Tuberville, why aren't you playing ball?
Right.
So, yeah, they're going to punish Alabama as best they can, the way they can. And if it weren't this, it would be something else. So don't worry about it.
Well, if it was up to me, if let's say I was like dictator of Alabama, I'd be like, get out. All of your installations, get out.
Get out. There you go.
No, but you got to say it in really obnoxious, almost like hill people. Get out. We don't want none of that in there. Like, that's how you got to do it.
How many hill people you know?
I think we tried that one time. didn't we?
Oh, you do live in the forest of the hills.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. There you go. I live in Forest Hills. Thank you.
They didn't
So
take
anyway.
kindly to that, Joey.
Did you know there are a lot of black hill people, actually?
Really?
Yeah, people think it's just whiteys, but
No,
it's
no,
not.
that's right.
It's just all, they're Hispanic, hill people.
Yep.
Chinese hill people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't even start on the Korean.
Fascinating.
Hey, about Judge Napolitano. Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and try to act like I know what I'm talking about compared to Judge Napolitano. The man's brilliant by any metric
Sure.
that you might use. And I like him, okay? But he's been wrong before.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you gotta know that going in. And the scope of the way he's thinking about this, the wrong way that he's thinking about this, is just, I can't describe it. It's just broad and deep. I can't believe that he's under, such a delusion. When it comes to this, classified documents thing, the whole thing boils down to this: can the president declassify documents or not, or who can and can't? And the Supreme Court has solidly ruled that the president can, at any time, declassify a document. That's the rule. That's the ruling that they gave to, the Clinton in the Sox score case. So to act like this is all cut and dried and Trump is guilty of something, it just is so wrong, isn't it? That I can't I can't wrap my arms around why is he saying that they've got Trump. They don't. They've got nothing on Trump. So Trump is rightfully, trying to flaunt it in their face.
Well, I mean, lawyers are almost like they're going to have multiple opinions, at least two opinions in any given case. And I think what Trump is trying to rely on is this Presidential Records Act that there has to be an underlying crime before you start hitting me up with process crimes. They did this with impeachment, that first potential impeachment in the Mueller report, that, he obstructed the Mueller investigation. Yeah, but can you obstruct something that there's no underlying crime?
Right.
So I think they might also go for prosecutorial misconduct.
They're going to go for whatever they can, Joey. They're just throwing mud on the wall.
Well, I think Trump's best legal defense is to win in November.
Yeah. Well, so
it's going to be interesting.
Now on the alternate side here, we got Biden under scrutiny finally, among some, and so these people, this one guy I saw is trying to defend Biden. He said, he had nothing to do with Hunter's dealings. They didn't know anything. And after this last, testimony, of course, we find out that's just not true.
Right.
And so, as if we didn't know already. And so we got his, this one guy out there saying, he called in and he was talking about the weather and the grandkids, and blah 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 blah, yada 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 yada, and there's just it's just incredible. The kind of again, mud on the wall. They're just throwing something, hoping something sticks, but the American people ain't buying this baloney. There's this thick sliced imitation baloney right here.
Oh, yeah. No, we're in what's the line? A post-persuasion political moment. That most persuasion is just non-existent. It's all about riling up your tribe and your base to get them mobilized to go out and vote. And it's a shame because I don't think, unless you actually can engage in true persuasion, like good faith discussion, you could actually have a government such as the one we think we have, a republic. And it's a rough time. I mean, the hardcore. No, sorry, you got it.
Well, it goes to credibility. You got to have at least a little bit of credibility, and to gaslight like that, and the gaslighting is thick. But how can you keep on believing, if you try to, throw somebody up there without any credibility whatsoever, it just doesn't happen. It doesn't work. It's not working anymore. So, I don't see how this, gaslighting, this particular form of gaslighting is going to work for them at all. So anyway, got two contrasting things going on here. I wish Judge Napolitano, in fact, I really do wish, because he said this, he's talked about this more than once, the Trump, whole document thing. This is such a farce. Again, they just nothing there. So how in the world can you keep on making this case that the Justice Department's got him on this one? They don't have jack, pal.
We'll see what happens.
Hope you're right.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it, Papa B. 272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by, Dylan Rings. And, of course, there at Dylan Rings, Josh and Leslie Ryder just do a fantastic job when it comes to, anything you might need for that jewelry need, like anything you might need for that jewelry need. No, but it could be things like cleanings. It could be something like appraisals.
Resize, Joey.
Resize or reset. And custom design as well. That's really where Josh Ryder's abilities shine. He's great with everything else, and they have an amazing selection of everyday jewelry items. You don't always want to, wear your nicest fare out.
Correct.
But you still want to have some bling, some ice on you. So how about something at a mid-level or lower level price point that you can wear every day? Say you go to the beach and you lose it. Oh, well, that's a shame, but it's not that big of a deal. Right. They've got plenty of that there at Dylan Rings, and then they have high-end. I think they still have some heirloom pieces left. And when you talk about the custom design, in fact, Sky Mosley, he did that. Josh Ryder did that for you,
many years ago, 13 years ago.
Wow.
And created our wedding rings out of my design. Had a few leftover diamonds.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And
nice.
I told Josh, I described it, he drew it out, and the next thing you know, exactly what I wanted.
Wow.
Well,
and,
there you
and
go.
it's really worked well too. So.
Well, y'all got to check out Dylan Rings today. You can always go to DylanRings.com. That's DylanRings.com. Or you can give them a call at 215-3669. But I really encourage you to stop by their showroom at 119 Brown Springs Road, just off of Atlanta Highway before Taylor Road there. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie Ryder that you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. More News and Views, well, after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Are we loco at Marguerite's? Hell yeah. Yes, we are. We've lost our mind at Marguerite's. We're doing polish, rhodium, and inspection of rings only, till August 5th for no charge. Now, everyone else charges $150 to $300. We charge $65 to $100. But forget about that. Bring in up to 5 rings. Doesn't matter if they're from Marguerite's or not. Doesn't matter if you ever shopped at Marguerite's or not. It's real quiet. There's no small print on this. Just trying to create a little traffic at Marguerite's. Till August 5th. Bring in your old rings. Let us make them look like new.
This is Evan Bass for Montgomery Men's Health, and I've been helping men with low testosterone issues for over a decade. I've seen firsthand how low testosterone sneaks up on you, often so slowly that you just get used to all the issues that come along with being low T. If you're experiencing a low sex drive, if your energy just isn't what it used to be, if you're gaining unwanted fat or have issues with muscle gain in the gym, you very well may have low testosterone. At Montgomery Men's Health, we've successfully treated many men for low T, and the results can be life-changing. Many of our patients start putting on muscle again when they work out. They find they have more energy, they sleep better, and their sex lives often improve as well. So make an appointment today and see if low T therapy can make the difference for you. Your first appointment is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult with testosterone lab results in minutes. Call 334-440-3663. That's 334-440-3663, or go to montgomerymenshealth.com.
Hi, I'm Brian McMahon with Turf Stalkers. Within a few months of advertising with Blue Water, our customer base doubled. If you're looking for similar results, we highly recommend advertising with Blue Water.
Our advertisers are our biggest advocates. Call us to find out how radio can increase your bottom line. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by JB Windows and Siding. Call Jones Brothers. You'll be glad you did.
JB Windows and Siding has what you're looking for. Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We've got some temporarily good news. The humidity level is coming down for at least a day or two. I mean, it's still going to be a hot day. We're up to about 97 today, but a nice break with dew points in the 50s this afternoon. That's going to feel good. So mostly sunny. We should be dry today and tomorrow. Tonight's low 73, Wednesday's high 96. Then back to the normal humidity levels again by Thursday and Friday, with scattered storms returning, and back to triple-digit heat indices as well. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
Are we loco at Marguerite's? Hell yeah. Yes, we are. We've lost our mind at Marguerite's. We're doing polish, rhodium, and inspection of rings only, till August 5th for no charge. Now, everyone else charges $150 to $300. We charge $65 to $100. But forget about that. Bring in up to 5 rings. Doesn't matter if they're from Marguerite's or not. Doesn't matter if you ever shopped at Marguerite's or not. It's real quiet. There's no small print on this. Just trying to create a little traffic at Marguerite's till August 5th. Bring in your old rings. Let us make them look like new.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Before we keep going with stuff, tell us about the Alabama Gazette, Sky.
Your hometown conservative newspaper, the Alabama Gazette, published right here in beautiful downtown Montgomery for over 23 years. serving Central Alabama proper under the banner of God, family, and country. That's the way the Alabama Gazette has always been. None of that woke nonsense in their publication. And right now, excellent employment opportunity for the Alabama Gazette. They're hiring, looking for, in particular, a print layout artist, also general office help. Most anyone could qualify for that if you can show up and know what it means to go to work. Give them a call, 657-7736, and shortly they'll be in need of salespeople as well, as they're kind of retooling down there to the Gazette. An excellent opportunity, especially for someone who perhaps you're an aspiring writer and you've always been too shy to have your work looked at. Well, now you can go to work for the Gazette, have them take a look, and perhaps even be published.
All right.
Yeah, 657-7736. Good things happen when you show up. Alabama Gazette, 657-7736.
That's a good opportunity for a budding wordsmith.
Sure. Bet.
Let's go to the phones and talk to Dennis. Hey, Dennis, how you doing?
What's happening, Dennis?
You know, hey, gang, the Gazette, I subscribe to it, and I also have sent some subscriptions to California because they're in dire need of it.
God bless you, Dennis. You're doing the Lord's work, son.
Well, you know, and now that you say that, Sky, you know, Joey, you brought up the thing about the DOJ and the FBI, how they're coming and crushing you, and the government, you know, coming to do this and do that or whatever, and you know, you say they'll slap us down like we're a bunch of stepchildren or something. You know? What they haven't considered is what God's going to do, because He smote the Philistines, He smote the Egyptians, and I want to be on the side of the smiter. I don't want to be around the group of the smitten.
Testify.
You know what I'm saying?
Every
like
single
I was telling Scott
time.
yesterday, you know, I want to be part of Psalms 144:1 that says, "Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle." You know, that ain't time to mess around. But
I hear where you're coming from, Dennis, but God forbid, if Elijah comes from American stock, I don't think that's a good thing for the United States of America.
I wouldn't want to be on the side of the smitten, Joey.
I'm just saying.
You know,
we might be the ones who get humbled and smoted.
Some people consider us the great Satan in this country. But
and
I hear what you're saying, Dennis, and I totally agree.
Yeah. You know, but, you know, I hope that, really, that things do not come to that point. But, you know, if it's inevitable, be on the right side. You know, that's what I'm saying. You know.
Well said.
Another subscription I sent to some people in California is the host of 1819 News in the webcast. I sent a lot of those links out, and a lot of those people that I've been sending it to are really digging what they're hearing. So.
Oh, that's good.
Spread the word.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, Dennis.
Thank you, Dennis.
Have a good day, guys.
Have a good one, Dennis.
Let's go to St. James. Hey, St. James. Long time no talk to. How you doing, sir?
Hey, fellas. How you doing, Joey?
Pretty good.
My normal self.
Joey, will you be happy this time next year or the end of next year?
Happy?
Will you be happy about, as far as the politics go, about this bloodletting and everything?
I have a feeling I could get a lot more depressed and melancholy. So I don't want to predict that I'm going to be happier. I would be happy to just be content, like a nice even keel is what I'm shooting for.
Well, listen, I know Papa B for the hard-working, good family guy, but I kind of feel sorry for him. It's just when you bring up how great thou art, Donald, how great thou art, Trump, it's just, I mean, the blinders are on. The bloodletting, I'll be so glad when it's over. And he mentioned Donald Trump in the same sentence and using the word credibility. It's amazing to me. And let's just use one example of impropriety. We're not going to even use the word federal indictments and the word criminal. When he called the guy over in Georgia about finding him some votes I mean, it's just so much. The pattern of behavior has been well established when it comes to this guy. I love Barack Hussein Obama, but I don't like, I would never support him if he's done what how great thou art Donald Trump has done. It's amazing to me. A lie is a lie if everybody believes it. Truth is the truth if nobody believes it.
That's certainly
And that's
true.
all I got, my man.
Well, that last thing you said, I agree with wholeheartedly, and we'll see. I mean, I hear your opinion, and a lot of people share it, but a lot of people, the more Trump is, say, brought to heel, the more they support him in the polls. It's going to be a heck of the year coming up.
Okay, well, that's another sad point you just made, but thank you.
Thanks, St. James. 272-9228. No, we are, the nation's divided. Like that. Like, let's stop making bones about it. And I know it pisses off people who are doggedly in one camp or the other. But if you think evil is just on the other side of your politics,
wrong.
You're very mistaken, and I don't think understand evil.
It's a big part of the problem in this country right now.
Another one that I think it affects all sorts of people in different walks of life. If you think, say, evil is dumb, it's always dumb.
Nope.
It's like, I don't think
you
understand how this works. Like, the Luciferian intellect is a real thing. Really smart people can do some of the worst things ever. Just because you're smart doesn't mean you're a better person.
Absolutely.
And so there's a lot of ways that we could come together, but right now I don't think politics is that path necessarily.
Sure doesn't look like it, Joey, although there could be that big alien invasion that brings us together.
Indeed.
And unites us.
And, I can get worked up, and honestly, at the end of the day, it wouldn't make me cry if we threw all of them in Gitmo. But,
I could vote for that.
Although, you guys
and
forget-
let it sort out itself. Yeah.
Gitmo's got a beach. I want to throw them somewhere where they will just never be heard from again. Not Gitmo.
So you would be one of those fellas, if you were in, say, revolutionary France, you would be manning the guillotine.
I'd build it if they'd let me.
Thank God we ain't in revolutionary France. I didn't know I was working with the damn Jacobin
Or like
over
in
here.
Superman. You remember how in Superman they had the bad guys were stuck in space just going round and round. That's probably before your time. But yeah.
Wait, which Superman?
The first one, the original.
With Christopher Reeves?
Yeah.
Yeah, it had them in those
little boxes of things. Yeah.
The things that impressed you Gen Xers.
What, man?
Like hacky sack, really?
Fortress of Solitude, baby.
Wait, are you talking about the thing that Superman goes to, or that strain that just made its way to Alabama?
No, I'm talking about my bathroom.
That's right. You did have to soundproof it.
For the neighbor's sake.
And by the way, I've thought this. Anytime I've gotten close to playing cohabitation with a woman,
yeah,
I'm like, I need to soundproof and smell-proof this damn bathroom.
Just get two. Always get two.
I would like to lay down. I see why it's the Fortress of Solitude. I'd like to lay down my wolf bait in peace. Let's hit a break. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. A jury deliberates about whether a man who killed 11 people at a Pittsburgh synagogue should receive the death penalty or life in prison without parole. Gunman Robert Bowers perpetrated the deadliest anti-Semitic attack in U.S. history when he stormed the Tree of Life Synagogue in 2018 and opened fire. Still no word on the fate of an American nurse from New Hampshire and her daughter, who remain missing after being kidnapped in Haiti. France, Italy, and Spain have announced evacuations from Niger for their citizens and other European nationals after a military coup in that country. The U.S. has not followed suit yet. The coup has won the backing from 3 other West African nations, also ruled by mutinous soldiers. The Dow had 27 points, but the Nasdaq is down 59. This is SRN News.
The recent bank failures are serving as a warning about how fragile our banking system really is. As millions of Americans panic, do you know what central banks are doing? Well, they're actually buying up gold at record levels. They're relying on it as a safe haven during these difficult times. That's how confident they are in the dollar. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnow, Christian author and evangelical leader to millions of people just like you. We're all Americans who want to protect our family's savings no matter what. I tell people the best option is to diversify their 401k or IRA into physical gold or silver with the help of Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, just text the word FAITH to the number 989898 to get a free information kit on gold IRAs. Look, there's no strings attached. It's not going to hurt you to take action now. So take the first step today and educate yourself. Get your free info kit when you text FAITH to 989898 right now. And I pray you and your family are greatly blessed.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, serving the river region with the best quality building materials for decades. Contractor to do-it-yourselfer. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We've got some temporarily good news. The humidity level is coming down for at least a day or two. I mean, it's still going to be a hot day. We're up to about 97 today, but a nice break with dew points in the 50s this afternoon. That's going to feel good. So mostly sunny. We should be dry today and tomorrow. Tonight's low 73, Wednesday's high 96. Then back to the normal humidity levels again by Thursday and Friday with scattered storms returning, and back to triple-digit heat indices as well. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
At CB&S Bank, we've been meeting the needs of our customers since 1906. Need help setting up new business goals? Our line of commercial loans can help you achieve them. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm Ellis Eskew with WAKA Channel 8. State Senator April Weaver says she plans to introduce legislation next year that would make faking an abduction a felony offense. Weaver says her bill will include strong prison sentences and mandatory restitution requirements for the full cost of resources used by law enforcement during a hoax abduction. Gas prices keep climbing. According to AAA, nationally, prices for regular gas are now up to $3.75 a gallon, while in Alabama, they are up to $3.35 a gallon. In our local area, prices range from an average of low $3.30 up to $3.54 a gallon. Tonight is National Night Out, a time for communities to come together to heighten crime and drug prevention awareness. This year, the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office will be celebrating National Night Out at Eastdale Mall in front of JCPenney from 5 to 8 p.m. And those are your news headlines. I'm Ellis Eskew from WAKA Channel 8.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
It's time to call Southern Bells Cleaning to help you get your house in order. They've spent years earning the trust of families in the river region, and they believe cleaning the old-fashioned way. Helen and her crew at Southern Bells bring all their own supplies, arrive on time, and specialize in full-service residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook, Southern Bells Cleaning, River Region.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
During Prattville Carpet's summer sale, you can get Mohawk waterproof flooring, regularly priced at $11 per foot installed, right now priced at $7 per foot installed. That's huge summer savings. And get interest-free financing for up to 12 months with approved credit. Call 285-8117 or visit prattvillecarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. This part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And there at the Goodson Group, Bo and his team have a unique understanding of the River Region real estate market because, well, Bo's been helping buyers and sellers here in the Montgomery and surrounding areas for over 40 years, 4+ decades of experience there at the Goodson Group, just by Bo himself. And so at the Goodson Group, not only can they help you with buying or selling your property, they can also help you rent it out. Like, a rental investment's a great idea in this River Region market, but it can be a pain in the neck, a pain in the butt, in fact, to actually manage that property yourself, why not for a reasonable fee have the Goodson Group do it for you? And then the crown jewel of the Goodson Group is the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, one of the most highly acclaimed real estate programs here in the state of Alabama, because it's a very interactive course, number one. Bo doesn't just let you sit there like a bump of the log. He's asking questions. He's getting a lot of back and forth. And he's bringing to bear that 40-plus years of experience. The good, the bad, and the ugly. He's been through it all, and you can learn from all those scenarios, those real-life things Bo has lived there at the Bo Goodson Real Estate School. So check him out today. You can always go to thegoodson.com or give him a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. Great sponsor here of News and Views in the afternoon. Now we're continuing to get closer and closer to when Eddie has to leave. And what's the reason again?
I have a doctor's appointment.
A doctor's appointment?
Yes.
Like you got a skin tag, you dermatologist or something?
No, not on this particular occasion. It is a physical. So no telling what he'll find, Joey. We'll hook up the EKG, the whole 9 yards.
It's like a total body massage sort of thing.
Not really the massage thing, but yeah. Well, getting ready to go on vacation. And I scuba dive while I'm there. That's a big reason we're going there.
Oh.
And so I want to make sure I'm good to go.
And you plan on doing some of the show from Jamaica?
Yeah, I'm all excited
over
about
the stream.
Over the live stream, I think we can do it. I think I can do a good 5-minute, 10-minute segment or something. It'd be fun to do with a beautiful backdrop. And one thing that's strange about Jamaica, like my buddy Marvin, he has Wi-Fi in his car. Everybody has Wi-Fi everywhere there. It is kind of strange. So it shouldn't be hard to get a signal or anything like that.
Well, I know you're excited for
Dude, I'm so ready.
Jamaica and apprehensive about getting the whole finger wag this afternoon at the doctor.
I'm not looking forward to it, I can tell you that.
272-9228. So the Devon Archer testimony, we were predicting, and we were wrong, that he was going to be like, oh, yeah, we go way back in the olive oil business.
Apparently he laid out some goods there, buddy.
Yeah, well, at least according to the folks there at Breitbart, and most Republicans who are in the room. We'll get to the Democrats' response to Devon Archer's testimony in a moment. But Devon Archer testifies Joe Biden was on speakerphone for 20 calls. Hunter Biden's best friend in business, Devon Archer, told House investigators that Hunter Biden included then Vice President Joe Biden on speakerphone over 20 times with business associates to sell, quote-unquote, the brand. But he wasn't talking business, right?
Right.
Archer testified that one of those calls included a dinner in China with Jonathan Lee of the Bohai Harvest, RST.
So what?
Bohai Harvest, RST. It's in China.
Okay.
Hunter Biden and Archer held those interests in the company through a shell company called Rosemont Seneca Thornton. Archer confirmed Joe Biden attended a business dinner with Hunter Biden and business associates at Cafe Milano in Washington, D.C. in 2014. Yelena Barturina, the billionaire ex-wife of Moscow's longtime mayor, also attended the dinner.
Interesting.
Republican investigators revealed Barturina transferred $3.5 million to Rosemont Seneca Thornton on February the 14th, 2014. Huh. No, the timing's interesting. The Biden administration sanctions list excludes Russian oligarch Barturina. Wow. Wait. I thought the Russians were well, there's some good Russians.
There's a few good Russians, Joey.
The good Russians are the ones that pay you, right?
Of course.
In 2014, Archer and Hunter Biden both joined the board of Burisma, a Ukrainian energy company with legal challenges, as it was under investigation for wrongdoing. Burisma paid Hunter Biden $83,000 a month to sit on its board. Archer also testified in December 2015. The co-founder of Burisma, co-founders, put pressure on Hunter Biden to get help from Washington, D.C. regarding the Ukrainian prosecutor Viktor Shokin, who was investigating Burisma for corruption. Yeah, and it puts a lot of these old Biden clips in perspective, you know? Like when he bragged about getting the prosecutor fired.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right. Well, son of a bitch. And he was fired the next day when I threatened to withhold that money. That's interesting. And then he said very fervently, Biden did, Joe did, that I never talked about any business stuff with my son, even though I was the figurehead of the family, and you're on 20-plus calls to sell the brand.
How long before this goes into, I'm an old man, I don't remember?
Well, it's already gone into, it started with Anna Navarro on The View. Joe just loves Hunter, and Hunter is an addict.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And what
we
is
saw
Joe?
Claire McCaskill. Well, now it's gone into territory, I was telling you off air, that just straight up pissed me off. It's gone into the territory of, well, you got to remember at that time that Joe's son, Beau Biden, he was suffering from that brain cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was talking with the family all the time in those troubled times. I've said it on these airways before. It's a weird thing I have in common with the President of the United States. His son, Beau Biden, has the same type of brain cancer as my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been through, let's say, similar things.
Right.
And it's one thing to talk about the people you love, commemorate them, show how they influence you still to this day. I've seen moments where President Biden brings up his son, Beau, and it is touching. But for Democrats now, and this was Dan Goldman on Morning Joe, we'll play the clip in a second, to essentially dance on the grave of Beau Biden so they can rip it up and use it as a shield to protect his father, Joe, is just...
Does it surprise you, though, Joey?
It's just unconscionable.
These people have no shame. They have no shame. And they'll go down, and I can't wait till they do, but they'll go down telling everyone it's everyone else's fault. It's everyone else's fault.
What a shame indeed. 272-9228. Let's go to the phones and talk to Sam.
All right.
Sam.
What up, Sammy?
Hey, gentlemen, thank you for taking my call. It is a shame, Joey. I always think back, talking about the Bidens. You know, Joe, he's been there for decades, and you do get to feel entitled, and he's doing exactly what he's always done. They just untouchable. When I was watching the highlights of the Clarence Thomas trial assembly a while back, and there's Joe. You know, he's been there. And
he's been
well,
there.
I love that one moment. I'm thinking of the same documentary you're talking about,
Yes,
Sam, where it's the beginning of the hearing. Clarence Thomas is sitting there at the committee table, and then the dais is raised up. You've seen a committee hearing in Congress, especially the Senate one. And Joe Biden's leading that Judiciary Committee. And Biden starts with this opening thing, you know, and I know. Now, most folks probably don't understand this, Judge Thomas, but you know, and I know that what we're going to get to the bottom of is natural law and your belief in natural law. And then the documentary cuts to Clarence Thomas, goes, do you know what Biden was talking about? I don't know what the hell he was talking about at all.
Right.
That's it. And when I hear somebody say natural law, I assume they're talking about nature's son, the Luciferian law.
Or maybe they're bringing up Grotius or Aquinas. I don't know.
Yeah, they're not talking about the U.S. Constitution. Anyway, Joey, listen, I remembered something that I forgot yesterday I wanted to throw by you. It's just something I saw on the news real quick over the weekend. The Channel 8, their sports crowd, they're a bunch of the newscasters, they fielded a rafting team. They went to Whitewater, and they had they had the GoPros and whatnot. And
Joey can't swim.
Pushing.
Here's the deal. I'm letting the cat out of the bag. Joey can't swim. That's why he doesn't like to go to the lake. That's why he won't go to the Whitewater. That's why he won't go to Jamaica. Joey can't swim. He's afraid of the water.
Well,
I'm actually one of the few white people who doesn't have buoyancy. I can't float.
Swim like a rock, then, dude.
Oh, well, listen, I got bad news. Anybody gets in that turbulent water, they're not going to be swimming. Yeah.
I'm not a water person, to be blunt. I really am not. Like, people are like, hey, you want to hang out by the pool? I'll buy the pool. Buy it.
I'd rather be indoors with the air conditioning.
Right, yeah.
I'll watch you through
Come
the
out,
window.
the water's fine. Yeah, and then I'm sunburned. Or, no, hit this lotion. Why does it smell like creamsicle? Why did you get creamsicle sunscreen?
I'll get you to the right beach one day, and you'll be like, yeah, we need to sit out here
If you
for a
take
while.
me to a nude beach, I'm going to be very upset.
I'm investigating one while we're there. But I've been reading the reviews, and it's much like I thought they were.
You know how
lots of
humble I am about that.
Yeah,
well, this might be your people.
I know the truth.
Yeah, I kind of think folks who claim modesty's a virtue were, well.
Right.
Anyway.
Right.
Anyways, I know the truth about white
maybe
water.
I
It's
can
too
do
much
that.
like bath day. Pardon?
Maybe I can do that live streaming from that beach, Joey.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, do not call into the show from that nude beach.
Are you sure?
I will jump through the screen and kick your ass.
Are we doing a bit right now? Or
No.
You're telling me not
Do
to?
not do it from the nude beach.
I got you.
We'll get kicked off of everything, and I will not be able to unsee it.
I got you.
Hey,
Stop
Eddie,
winking.
I tried to. Hey Eddie, I ran that idea. If Joey and I had gotten on that Love boat, to do the show from there, and I don't know. They got good Wi-Fi.
Yeah, good
other than
Wi-Fi.
that,
I don't even know. Like,
Hey,
I
Ed,
work and I deal with such hicks every day. I'm mostly talking about Eddie, not you, Sam, but seriously.
Yeah.
I go from talking to Napolitano to now talking to you guys about nude beaches and the Love Boat.
Yeah.
Hey, the show started off great.
Yeah,
Well,
it started great.
It's still, hey, Eddie, in all seriousness, man, Joey, listen, I was telling Ed, several years ago, I went to the VA on Perry Hill Road in Montgomery, Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
And he's talking about the Korean, and there was this little old lady, a little old Korean nurse, and she's going to give me the prostate check. 1 out of 3 men have problems.
Yep.
Maybe not cancer, but 1 out of 3 will have swelling. So, yeah, rednecks, go get yourself checked out. But anyway, she didn't lube the glove. And I think that hussy did it on purpose. Yeah, man, I come up off that table.
Well, maybe it's because he called her a hussy.
Or, yeah. No. Sam.
Oh, man. I
Cat cut your tongue?
Yeah, by lightning.
I got to run, Sam. Appreciate it, man.
See you, Sammy.
272-9228. Let's go to the phones and talk to Eric.
Hey, Eric. What's up, buddy?
Hello, Eric.
Hey, good afternoon. Hey, I've been listening to Joey a little bit about the Biden situation, and I'm in favor of rewriting the Webster Dictionary, and when you defy sorry, they ought to have Joe Biden's picture. Sorry, is pure hell, and I noticed here I don't keep that much up with the news anymore, solely because they're always talking about it like either Trump on the mainstream media, of course, Newsmax and of course Fox. They always report the real news, but of course, you got your other networks, which we don't even have to mention their names. But I noticed in Illinois, I've never been to the state. They've got 130 laws that the governor signed, and you've seen Andy Griffith, citizen's arrest with Gomer Pyle, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you can be illegal citizen and make an arrest. If you see some crime being committed in Illinois, you can be an illegal and make an arrest. I saw that.
Yep, I voted on that yesterday.
Well, there must be a lot of crime amongst the illegals.
I don't think they'll get the illegals
about.
to be a cop in Chicago.
Good luck.
What the hell would any governor in the right now? Of course, you got to realize that Democrats in charge. And I was in New Orleans for the last 4 days, and I'll tell you something. You think the Big Easy, it's got its bad places. You got all the wards. We was working there in the restaurant, but installing equipment. Hell, we come back to Montgomery, and we run into more crime news than New Orleans, and they got 780,000 people in the city limits, and we only got, 200,000?
Yeah, if that.
Yeah.
So that's telling me something, and our leadership is not working. I don't know. We know, but the very people that are raising hell about crime, Joey, they're the very ones that put them right back in office. I like this Gilbreth guy, whatever his Barrett.
Yeah.
He strikes me as, he's young. That's fine. Maybe that's what we need. And he just strikes me as really has a concern for this city.
Yeah.
Right.
And I just damn sure don't think that Stephen does. I'll tell you the truth. He spends more time in Birmingham and Hoover. I found out through my nephew lives up there, and he's always up there at some sort of a damn event, than he is here. It's about like Joe Biden at Rehoboth Beach.
Well, but it'll be up to the people to see if Barrett can actually convince enough folks, or maybe it's Victorious, maybe it's Marcus McNeil.
Right
but,
on.
It's an uphill battle. I think the mayor is actually pretty strong there in his position.
Oh, yeah, he's got a base. He's definitely got a base. So, it's always worth. David Woods would have been a good mayor.
Well, I appreciate the call, Eric.
Thank you, my friend.
Take care, Eric.
Well, and the point he made, too, about illegal immigration, when you have such massive populations of folks who are here illegally, they don't have the right documents, so to speak, and you're essentially creating whole communities of people like that.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how much crime, like illegal folks preying on other illegal folks, just goes unreported.
A lot.
Yeah. That creates, as a government, as a state, You need to be able to see and see everything. But when you create this two-tier system, you create more and more folks who live in the shadows.
Easy fix. Don't let the illegals in, Joey.
Secure the border is the
there
right way
we
to go.
So what? At least a place to start.
Yeah, well, you got to get out of here.
Yeah, I got to go.
But before we do, tell us a little bit about how long you've been working with Ashley there at Pest Pro Services.
Pest Pro Services, man, since I was a realtor, so it's been 7 or more years. And honestly, I'll tell you the story. I was in a tight where I needed some termite inspection done on a particular house, and I called, I think, every termite inspection company in town, and I worked for Bo at the time, and Bo said, here, try Ashley. Ashley showed up, and I kind of threw myself upon her. I was like, this is what I got. Can you please help me? She's like, no problem. Literally, no problem. I mean, I went from panic situation, oh my God, I'm never going to close in this house, to someone that actually respected my time because she showed up when I asked her to. And she's like, Eddie, I got this. She made me feel so much better about the whole thing. And by the way, we passed termite inspection.
Well, whether it's termites, mosquitoes, any of your pest control problems, do what Eddie did. Make them your everyday pest control company. You can always call them at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or go to ppsriverregion.com. Just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. Very active Facebook page. Yeah, they're always giving back to the community. All sorts of great events they're always putting on there at Pest Pro. When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and her team that Eddie and Joey from News and Views sent you. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, big guy.
Okay.
Good luck.
Oh, that's good.
So is it...
I just can't wait to eat.
Is it how many fingers?
Single, pinky, I hope.
Good to be young. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Picture this. A serene, tranquil resting place surrounded by nature's beauty. A place where memories are cherished and loved ones are forever remembered. We're talking about your final resting place, and it's never too early to start planning for it. Pineview Memorial Gardens in Wetumpka has been family-owned and operated for over 55 years. We understand the importance of pre-need planning. You can make decisions that reflect your personal wishes. You can choose the perfect location, whether it's a serene garden, a peaceful mausoleum, or a place in our cremation wall. Pre-need planning alleviates the burden from your loved ones during a time of grief. By planning ahead, you can secure today's prices, protecting yourself and your family from future cost increases. So why wait? Contact Pineview Memorial Gardens in Wetumpka today. Your final resting place should be a reflection of your unique journey. Take control of your future and make pre-need planning a priority. Pineview Memorial Gardens in Wetumpka, where memories live on.
Hey, we're talking to Tammy. Tammy, why does everybody loves Mama's Produce?
Goodness, there's a whole lot of reasons to love Mama's Produce. We got ice cream. Man, have we got some fresh peas. We've got fresh limas. We've got watermelons, tomatoes. There's a whole lot of reasons to love Mama's.
And Tammy, I understand you got some fantastic watermelons.
Actually, right now I've got in some yellow meat, some sugar babies, some seedless, and I've got some Jubilees that just came in.
And of course, Tammy, you keep everybody up to date on your Facebook page.
We try to stay engaged on Facebook, and if I don't answer you on Facebook or Messenger, I'll sit down at the end of the day and go through them.
Tammy, that sounds good. Now tell us where you are.
We're at 1154 South Memorial Drive in Prattville. That's about a half a mile south of the Midtown McDonald's, attached to Prattville Farm Center and right across from Pig Enterprise. Yep, we close at 5:30 Monday through Friday and Saturday at 2. Everybody loves Mamas.
This is Evan Bass from Montgomery Men's Health, and I've been helping men with low testosterone issues for over a decade. I've seen firsthand how low testosterone sneaks up on you, often so slowly that you just get used to all the issues that come along with being low T. If you're experiencing a low sex drive, if your energy just isn't what it used to be, if you're gaining unwanted fat or have issues with muscle gain in the gym, you very well may have low testosterone. At Montgomery Men's Health, we've successfully treated many men for low T, and the results can be life-changing. Many of our patients start putting on muscle again when they work out. They find they have more energy, they sleep better, and their sex lives often improve as well. So make an appointment today and see if low T therapy can make the difference for you. Your first appointment is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult with testosterone lab results in minutes. Call 334-440-3663. That's 334-440-3663 or go to montgomerymenshealth.com.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, now flying solo, Joey Clark. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Red Top. Hey, Red Top, how you doing?
Hey, bud, I'm out on the campaign trail.
Really?
Eric Gilbert.
Oh, fantastic. You going door-to-door with them?
No. I don't need to go door to door. I'm going corner to corner. I just put up one 4x8 foot sign at the corner of Ann Street, right there at Capital Heights Baptist. I'm about to put another one up there, so I'm doing the bigger sign.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
And we got a big problem here. Ain't nobody going to vote, especially in your generation. Everybody I've talked to, 30s and below, does not vote for mayor. We got a big damn problem in this town, buddy.
Yeah, I think most of them are like, what good is it? Ooh, a new Rick and Morty's on. Fire up the bong.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say. This is the most disinterested group of Americans I've seen about voting. It's not encouraging, Joey.
Oh, and I would say this, Red Top. I think sometimes the politics is designed to be demoralizing and to make people show disinterest.
Well, I lived through a hell of a lot more demoralizing time than this, the Vietnam War. When my friends were being drafted and sent over there. And maybe these guys need a little shot in the ass to show them what reality is, because my draft number got called. It was 331, but still my draft, I was in the last year to get draft numbers called. These people better wake up. And deja vu, Joey, here we go again, back to the 60s, when the Johnson administration closed Craig Field and closed Selma, Alabama for good. This is not good. And I know there's moral issues at stake, but actually all the policies the military has taken does not break the Hyde Amendment because they don't pay directly for abortions, and that's what the Hyde Amendment says, correct?
You're getting real literal, but no, I think it breaks the spirit of the law. I think it would be an interesting court fight if they actually went there.
Well, I wish it would. But in the meantime, nobody's challenging it. And did I hear the Hyde Amendment comes up for renewal?
It was just renewed. Katie Britt was talking about how she helped preserve it, and then Tuberville's hold is not changing by any means.
Of course not. Okay, well, we stand to lose a hell of a lot in this state because of these knife-edge positions, and I agree the morals are on their side, but I tell you, it hurt when Craig Field left this damn state. It made a big impact on it. That is permanent. We got to get out and vote, folks. Regardless of what age you are, I'm about over here at the campaign headquarters on Monticello Drive. If you want to sign, come by, pick it up. We got to get rid of this.
What? I hear you, Red Top, but what makes you think young people will vote your way?
Well, if they don't vote, it doesn't matter. They need to vote. I don't care which way they vote. so we can at least get a grip on reality. That's the way I look at it. Does that make sense to you, sir?
I hear where you're coming from. It's not how I think about it, but I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
272-9228. No, I think things like your natural rights, as they are found in the Bill of Rights, if we actually cared for those things, are much more important than the civil right to vote. And often the civil right to vote is just used as an excuse. Well, look at all the people voted, so we get to violate your natural rights. Actually, no, you don't. It's that old idea that ancient liberty has come back with a vengeance. When's ancient liberty? Oh, you get a share in how power will make decisions. It used to be just, citizens, say, of Athens, and there are a lot of folks who couldn't vote back then. There are a lot of folks who couldn't vote at the beginning of this country. But the idea is that men and now women and people of all walks of life need to sit on benches after being voted to decide what people's rights may be. And often when we're answering political questions, we're answering the unknown. So you do need representatives. Of course, leadership is a natural thing in this world. You'll always have folks who are leading the way and those who choose to follow what leader. But there are certain things that nobody should be able to vote away. And yet that is what we constantly do over and over again. 272-9228. And if folks, say in a younger cohort, look at, say, the local municipality, maybe they've gone to a few town halls and they realize these folks aren't in charge of squat. They're just local administrators for federal and state programs. There are a few great people I've met here locally. I'm not bad-mouthing anybody individually. You find good folks in all walks of life, but it should be the opposite way around. All politics should be local, but it's not. It's not by any means. It should be that the most important election is a mayoral election, is a city council election, but it's not that way. People tend to pay attention only to presidential elections because, well, it's quite a spectacle, ain't it? But it doesn't seem to come across, at least recently since I've been watching, as self-government. But maybe I'm just being cynical or too idealistic. Which one is it? 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. This part of the program brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing. And they're at Cole Plumbing. Well, they can help you when you have that plumbing emergency like a burst pipe inside or outside your home. Or maybe you don't notice a leak or water flowing outside or, that wet spot on the carpet or in the ceiling. Maybe you look at the power bill and then you go, okay, the power bill's normal. Look at the gas bill, okay, everything's normal. And you look at your water bill and go, the heck, this is like quadruple. Didn't use that much water. Well, you probably got a leak, man. So call up Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. That's 279-8919. They understand time is of the essence. And the great news is they have this proprietary pipelining technology that allows them with minimal discomfort to you and your home to solve the problem. That means they're not going to have to tear out a bunch of drywall, dig up a huge hole in your yard, creating a big muddy mess. No, with precision and expertise, they can solve those plumbing issues. And of course, they can help you with everyday problems like low water pressure or a clogged drain, tree root invasion. Maybe your sump pump's not working, or maybe you do have a gas leak. It could be that gas bill's higher than you. Like, what the heck is this? Cole Plumbing can handle all of that. So check them out today. You can always go to coleplumbing.com. That's coleplumbing.com. Or again, just save their number. So when you have an emergency, you can go right to your contacts to Cole Plumbing. 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole. More news and views in the afternoon after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Are we loco at Marguerite's? Hell yeah. Yes, we are. We've lost our mind at Marguerite's. We're doing polish, rhodium, and inspection of rings only, till August 5th for no charge. Now, everyone else charges $150 to $300. We charge $65 to $100. But forget about that. Bring in up to 5 rings. Doesn't matter if they're from Marguerite's or not. Doesn't matter if you ever shopped at Marguerite's or not. It's real quiet. There's no small print on this. Just trying to create a little traffic at Marguerite's till August 5th. Bring in your old rings. Let us make them look like new.
This is your roving reporter, and today I'm talking with a famous broadcaster.
Hey man, what's happening?
Now, I understand you radio people move a lot, is that correct?
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, how does this affect your taking care of your retirement money?
Oh man, I don't give that a second thought because my buddy David Ernest, he's my money man.
Your money man?
With the money plan.
I see.
So no matter where I go up and down the dial, David has my back, you know?
I'll bet you know some phone numbers our listeners could call to talk with David Ernest.
334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839.
And he has a website at retirewithernest.com.
Hey, you're on top of it today, man.
I also understand that you hold some sort of a record in broadcasting.
Yes. I was the first person to put together a show with myself, a duck, a chicken, and a goose. But it didn't last long. We got taken off the air.
Why were you taken off the air?
Too much foul language, man.
Oh, my.
So I wasn't crazy about that one myself.
We've all been caught up in the little chores that pile up every day. The dishes in the sink, the trash that needs taking out, the pesky check engine. A little change can go a long way when you escape every day at Wing Creek Casino and on the Casinoverse app.
Are we loco at Marguerite's? Hell yeah. Yes, we are. We've lost our mind at Marguerite's. We're doing polish, rhodium, and inspection of rings only, till August 5th for no charge. Now, everyone else charges $150 to $300. We charge $65 to $100. But forget about that. Bring in up to 5 rings. Doesn't matter if they're from Marguerite's or not. Doesn't matter if you ever shopped at Marguerite's or not. It's real quiet. There's no small print on this. Just trying to create a little traffic at Marguerite's till August 5th. Bring in your old rings. Let us make them look like new.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We've got some temporarily good news. The humidity level is coming down for at least a day or two. I mean, it's still going to be a hot day. We're up to about 97 today, but a nice break with dew points in the 50s this afternoon. That's going to feel good. So mostly sunny. We should be dry today and tomorrow. Tonight's low 73, Wednesday's high 96. Then back to the normal humidity levels again by Thursday and Friday with scattered storms returning and back to triple-digit heat indices as well. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors & More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors & More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Serve on the board of the Ukrainian energy company facing serious corruption charges. You were the vice president running point on Ukraine. The average Joe hears that and says, that sounds fishy. What's your understanding of what your son was doing for an extraordinary amount of money?
I don't know what he was doing. I know he was on the board. I found out he was on the board after he was on the board, and that was it. And there's nobody...
Well, you've had a lot of time. Isn't this something you want to get to the bottom of?
No, because I trust my son.
But that doesn't pass the smell test. Like, when you're vice president, isn't there a higher standard? Don't you need to know what's happening with your family? Don't you need to put down some guardrails?
Unless there was something that was, there was something on its face that was wrong. There's nothing on its face that was wrong. So look, if you want to talk about problems, you know, let's talk about Trump's family. I mean, come on. This is...
So
these guys are amazing.
So you think that everything that happened was kosher?
you know there's not one single bit of evidence, not one little tiny bit, to suggest anything done was wrong. You know that, but you keep asking me these questions. It's okay. You're doing what you have to do, but I'm not worried about it. Look, the American public knows me.
Last one on this. Say you're elected, you're in office. What guardrails would you have to be sure that your son, your brother Jimmy, doesn't do anything to trade on the family name?
They will not be engaged in any foreign business because of what's happened in this administration. No one's going to be seeking patents for things from China. No one's going to be engaged in that kind of thing.
So no foreign business for your relatives?
Wow. That was Joe Biden, who was actually grilled by Axios. Then in the 2020 election cycle, it's just amazing how much this guy gets away with just laughing and getting stern and yelling at people. I don't think Joe Biden's the only one. It's just incoming because he's president. I think this is how D.C. has worked for way too damn long. Say 50 years too long. It's making the Gilded Age look like Camelot. Let's go to Delbert. Hey, Delbert, how you doing?
Hey, Joey. Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was just following up. An earlier caller was talking about people talking about voting, and I talk to a lot of younger people. I call that say 35 and under, and they sound like they're interested in mayor races and sheriff races, but they say they're not going to waste their time voting in statewide races because they know who's going to win. And also, in national elections, I hear them talking about Dominion voting machines are still being used, and so we know how that's going to come out too. If the 2020 election was stolen, then the 2024 election is going to be stolen too because nothing's changed. They're still using the same voting machines that they use then.
Well, and it does come down to those battlegrounds, and I think here's how I've always seen 2020. They changed the rules in midstream. I think they changed the rules in certain states illegally or unconstitutionally based on the state constitutions. And then the Republicans, including Trump, said, well, we're not going to play by the new rules. We just wish y'all would go back to the old rules. And we lost, even if you think those rules were changed in an illegitimate way. So I think this time around, they're going to have to play by the rules of whatever given state there is. And if there are things like so-called ballot harvesting and drop boxes and all the latest mail-in tricks that are going on, you've got to exploit the rules to the fullest in order to actually be competitive. That or change them back. And in some states, I think they have made some successful changes, but it's one of those state-by-state things.
Yeah, well...
Like us in Alabama, like, what do we got to complain? Well, we got plenty to complain about. But in terms of national elections, Trump's going to take the state all day, every day.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to let you know, I talked to a good many people that age, and that's what I've been hearing. Thank you, Joey. Y'all have a good day.
Appreciate it, Albert. 272-9228. Yes, we are live, and we're now live streaming on Facebook, my Facebook page, Joey Clark, News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV's Facebook page, my X account, formerly known as Twitter, but on x.com, just search for at the Joey Clark. And it's also available on YouTube. Just search Joey Clark on YouTube. You might have to search a little bit. The page still is not grown. We just started this. We've been doing this radio show for years. We're now actually live streaming it on the internets, as some say, and enjoying the project. We'll put it mildly. Let's go to line 2. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, it's Cranky.
Hey, Cranky, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I just wanted to congratulate you on your new status.
My new status?
Yeah. You're a government entity now, right?
I'm a government. When did that happen?
I'm not sure when it happened, but I tell you what, counterpart there, Eddie's taking off like it's one of them damn government jobs. Every time you turn around, he's gone. But congratulations on civil service status. And it's a better retirement, and you don't even have to show up to work.
Yeah, I hope I at least get some like State Department gig in like Northern Italy. That'd be nice.
Well, you know what? Maybe you might get appointed to the ambassadorship. Ambassador Chisholm, when Roy Moore was running for governor, Suzelle Josie, who's run for every job there, has been under the shining sun, dog catcher all the way up to Kahuna What in Charge. She was really vying for the ambassadorship to Chisholm because she knew that Roy Moore was going to appoint her to it, and it was just a heartbreak when he didn't make it quite across the finish line.
Yeah, Chisholm
for sure, but
Chisholm might be a better fit than Northern Italy because I can just foresee if I start living in Italy, headlines coming out on international news. A U.S. young State Department diplomat is having an affair with President Maloney. Because I would, I've always wanted to live up to that Billy Joel song, Uptown Girl, and why not go for a president?
President Maloney, that sounds like a porn star name, but anyhow.
No. She's the right winger in charge of Italy now.
I don't know who this is. What's she look like? She good looking?
Yeah, oh yeah. She's Italian.
Just Italian. Okay, I'm sorry. Never mind. I should have known. But I gotta divert back to Pee Wee Herman passing away. And I don't wish anything bad on anybody. Right. I don't wish death on anybody. Well, let me say this: I don't wish anything bad on most folks, but like I said, cancer, nothing to joke about at all. But my theory on Pee Wee Herman, up until the child porn charge, I got to qualify this. I don't even think you were around. This was in well, you may have been what year were you born?
88 was when I was born.
Oh, okay. All right. So you are getting old. Back then, you had Pee Wee Herman, the movie theater thing, and then about the same time all of that was going on, it had come out in the news that Magic Johnson, which ironically was the biggest waste of a porn star name ever, but Magic Johnson had come out, that he had HIV.
Right.
And once again, not making light of it. He's beat it down, no pun intended, and he's maintained his health. But I'm just sitting there going, Magic Johnson was a hero. He infected thousands of women. God knows how many thousands of women with HIV. He's a hero. And Pee Wee Herman went to an adult theater and does what people do when they go there. And it's, by the way, for the most part, not illegal. He's the pervert. He's the sick one. He's the bad one. And the guy that potentially exposed women to a fatal disease, he's a hero. And I've tried to wrap my head around that logic. And the logic I'm coming up with is the same logic that the people in San Francisco are perfectly content and actually promote and condone and want people to pee and crap on the sidewalks, but they're upset about the big flashing X on top of Elon Musk building a couple of 100 feet up in the air.
Well, it has been now taken down. Somebody put out an amazing Twitter or X meme where it says, Elon has reconstructed the X with feces and used needles, so San Francisco won't look at it.
They'll be praising that for sure. But I will tell you this: if he had a BLM sign up there, that would have been a totally different news story. It would have been, well, why can't he put some lights on it?
Right.
But that's just where we are in this muddled up. Well, I call it a Lola world, mixed up, muddled up, except for my girl Lola, right? Lola, but LA world.
Rhymes with cola.
Listen, you take care.
Yeah.
That's right. C-O-L-A cola.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was a poet and didn't know it. Listen, appreciate you picking the call up. Hope y'all have a great week and congratulations. Does this mean that you'll be going home 30 minutes early at the end of each shift now?
No, apparently I'm essential personnel.
Expendable? Is that what you said?
It might as well be. Shoot me now. Thank you, Cranky.
Have a good one.
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Bath Innovations of Alabama. And there at Bath Innovations, Brad McDowell and his team are, well, ready to help you. They can do full remodels, especially with this ABS acrylic shower system. This ABS material is this high-strength polymer material, these high-strength polymer panels. It's similar material to what you might find on a modern car bumper, so it can be shaped in a lot of different ways. It's pliable in that regard, but once it's set, it's very, very durable. What they can do is, say, rebuild out a walk-in shower with this ABS high-strength polymer panel material, and then emboss onto it a 4K image. So it looks like you have a granite shower or a marble shower or ceramic tile, whatever stone look you want, you can have it done through this system. It looks incredible. And you can even get laser etching done if you want that tile pattern, but you're never going to have to clean grout. Really incredible technology. You can see some of these full remodels there at bathinnovations.com. They also have aging in place solutions for seniors and those with disability and accessibility concerns. Things such as walk-in bathtubs, walk-in showers, safety bar railings, specialty fixtures and heads. So it's easy to, get cleaned up and enjoy your bath time, well, smoothly without any fear of slipping and falling. So check them out today. I've just scratched the surface of what they could do for you there at Bath Innovations of Alabama. 271-2723 is their number. That's 271-2723 or bathinnovations.com. The best way to deal with them is to go by that showroom, 2331 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. And be sure to tell Brad and the team there at Bath Innovations of Alabama that Joey from News and Views in the Afternoon sent you. We got a very quick break here. We'll come back to some of these calls and wherever the conversation goes.
Joey Clark.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
In today's fast-paced world, we don't get enough time to make self-care a priority. Let William Mason Salon and Spa in Prattville be your self-care sanctuary. In Aveda Concept Salon, William Mason's stylists offer world-class hair care. The spa at William Mason has a licensed esthetician and offers facials, waxing, spray tans, and brow laminations and lash lifts. Give the gift of beauty and relaxation with a gift certificate. Call 285-7200. Find them on Facebook or go to williammasonsalon.com.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. This part of the program, in fact, this entire hour, like you just heard, brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And I'm telling you, folks, what Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon, the whole team, could do for you there is just spectacular. They're local, number one, trusted folks you can actually sit down with. They've earned their reputation, and they'll prove it to you. They actually sit down with you, get to know you, what your goals are, and maybe buying a home or refinancing a home. And they're going to, it's no doubt, give you the best possible strategy going forward. So if you're buying, they're with you from pre-approval all the way to closing day, every step of the way in between. Or if you're looking to refi to get rid of that credit card debt off your back or any sort of debt, and you want to start to consolidate all that together, a refinance deal through Alabama Home Mortgage is a great idea, especially if you're a veteran. They're VA home loan specialists there at Alabama Home Mortgage. They did the extra continuing education to be up on the latest what's going on with the VA and home loans. And say with a refinance deal, if you're a veteran, you can get up to 100% of your home's estimated value as a refi, which is just incredible. So check them out today, 567-4223. That's 567-4223. You can also visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies, like Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. Let's go to Charlie. Hey, Charlie, how you doing?
Hey, Joy. Hey, buddy, I just wanted to have an opinion. I was listening to Red Top a while ago, and I agree. I don't agree with Red Top all the time, but I agree with him on his comment a while ago. You know, I was up and coming back in the 70s, well, 60s, 70s, and 80s. And I remember when, talking about Selma, when Joe Smitherman was the mayor of Selma. Selma was just a really nice place. It really was. It really was. It was a historical place. And Craig Field was out there and all this good stuff. Well, when Mr. Smitherman, I think he was mayor for maybe a little over 20-something years or whatever. Anyways, when he got out of it, that place went to hell, and now it's unbelievable. And all it is a bunch of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. People don't want to go there because of the violence and all like that. Well, you come on down Highway 80 and you run into Montgomery. Montgomery's becoming the same thing, Joey. The same thing. I think I heard on the news that people that are being shot that survive, there's 60%, between 60 and 70% of these people that will not even, they know the people who shot them, but they will not help law enforcement out by telling them who shot them because they're afraid they're going to come back and shoot them again.
Yeah.
Because they let them out of jail. Joey, this is bull crap, man. Unless this stuff stops and we start making people pay for their crimes and all, it's going to get pathetic. But you can see where the whole city is just going down. Let me tell you this: my son-in-law, retired fireman in Montgomery, on his time off, you know, they work 24, 4 days off. But when he was working, he would paint homes, and he was out in Halcyon painting homes one day, and heard some guys in his trailer parked in the driveway of this home, stealing his tools. And he hollers at them. They pull out a gun and they shoot at him.
Goodness.
My electrician is doing work in Montgomery, and his truck is parked in the driveway of a home. He comes out, and there's a guy in his truck throwing things out of his truck, and he hollers at him, and he grabs up as much as he could as far as tools and things and takes off running. Damn. I have been held up 3 times in Montgomery from guys. Somebody's got to get control of this stuff, Joey. You know, you can talk about this crap, or not you, but I'm saying we, until the cows come home, Chief. But I'm gonna tell you, somebody's got to come down on these thugs that don't give a crap. Let me tell you what's going on in Georgia. I was in a lady's house not long ago that was a teacher in Georgia, and she said that the gangs in Georgia, the initiation to join the gang is that they shoot them in the calf muscle with a .22. And she said that these are high school kids that will join these gangs and get this initiation into a gang. Crime is just totally out of control. You know, Joey, nobody wants to go to Montgomery. I don't live in Montgomery. I live outside of Montgomery in the Elmore, Millbrook area, Deatsville area. But nobody wants to come to Montgomery and do anything because they're afraid they might not make it back home.
Well, and you're reminding me of a line that always sticks in my mind. The problem was not government, but man one at a time. And it's what we were getting at with Napolitano earlier, that you can make all the laws and constitutions and rules you want, but at the end of the day, people don't respect liberty and respect the ideas that built the country. They don't. It's going to be hell. And we're seeing that. And then you're also seeing beyond, I think, deeper than politics, young men in particular, but young people in general, or people in general, if they don't get meaning in a certain wholesome way that, say, has a northern destination, they're going to find something else that gives them that meaning, and it probably is going to be lacking.
Well, one of the things that I don't understand is how can these people get by with committing these terrible, terrible crimes, and they just get slapped on the wrist, and they're put right back out on the street, to do the same thing. I read an article about in some state they were planning on carrying out an execution of this guy that's 45 years old. He kidnapped a 6-year-old little girl. He raped her, tortured her, and killed her. Now his attorney is trying to get him off, or was trying to get whatever you want to call it, keep him from being executed, because the guy, of course, they all claim they've got mental issues. He claims he is from the underworld, and his attorney said that with him having a mental issue that he claims he has, that by executing him, that it would be cruel and inhumane punishment. But what in the hell did that little girl go through that, and her family, since they lost her?
Well, when somebody tells you and behaves like an actual demon, I think we should take them at their word. And you went right where I was thinking, that people aren't responsible for their actions. It's society. And so they're either insane or they just grew up not having the right advantages. I mean, how different would you be in that terrible situation? Put yourself in their shoes. You know, I can empathize all day long, and there's a role for that. But you cannot remove the responsibility from people. We do have free will, even if it is bounded. Even if you're not God, obviously, but you can make your own damn choices, even if you're in a tough spot. That's no excuse.
That's right. Because if you don't, it's going to back up on good, decent, everyday people out here are going to be the ones that suffer. And we're suffering now because of the stuff that we have to put up with. But anyway.
Well, Charlie, I got to run.
Good talking to you guys.
Thanks a lot. More news and views. Final hour here on a Tuesday when we come back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Russian authorities have accused Ukraine in yet another drone attack on Moscow and its surroundings. One of the drones has hit the same building in the capital that was damaged by a drone in a similar attack on Sunday. The repeated drone strikes underscore Moscow's vulnerability as Russia's war in Ukraine drags on into its 18th month. Israeli authorities say a Palestinian gunman has opened fire in an Israeli settlement east of Jerusalem, wounding at least 6 people before he was shot and killed. The shooting in the sprawling Jewish settlement of Ma'ale Adumim in the occupied West Bank. Crumbling COVID-19 vaccine and treatment sales chopped Pfizer's second quarter earnings, but both the drug maker and Wall Street expect a rebound in the back half of 2023. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 50 points, but the Nasdaq down 48. This is SRN News.
The recent bank failures are serving as a warning about how fragile our banking system really is. As millions of Americans panic, do you know what central banks are doing? Well, they're actually buying up gold at record levels. They're relying on it as a safe haven during these difficult times. That's how confident they are in the dollar. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnow, Christian author and evangelical leader to millions of people just like you. We're all Americans who want to protect our family's savings no matter what. I tell people the best option is to diversify their 401k or IRA into physical gold or silver with the help of Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, just text the word faith to the number 989898 to get a free information kit on gold IRAs. Look, there's no strings attached. It's not going to hurt you to take action now. So take the first step today and educate yourself. Get your free info kit when you text faith to 989898 right now. And I pray you and your family are greatly blessed.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, the best quality building materials in the river region for decades. From common builds to special orders and local delivery. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We've got some temporarily good news. The humidity level is coming down for at least a day or two. I mean, it's still going to be a hot day. We're up to about 97 today, but a nice break with dew points in the 50s this afternoon. That's going to feel good. So mostly sunny. We should be dry today and tomorrow. Tonight's low 73, Wednesday's high 96. Then back to the normal humidity levels again by Thursday and Friday with scattered storms returning, and back to triple-digit heat indices as well. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
ASE Credit Union makes auto loans easy with rates as low as 4.75% APR. Apply online or visit your local branch today. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
ASE Credit Union. Your life, your goals, your ASE.
1819 News.
Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall has gone on national news over the weekend regarding the Carly Russell case out of Hoover. Marshall told Fox News that even though there was no actual kidnapping, this was not a victimless crime.
Yeah, I think there's actual cost and there's societal cost, and this is not a victimless crime. Clearly, the city of Hoover, through their police department as well as surrounding law enforcement agencies, expended significant resources to try to make sure that we could locate not only Carly Russell, but don't forget the allegation involved an infant on the side of a busy highway. You had countless individuals come out late, early, in the heat in Alabama, looking for both of these individuals. And one thing that I don't want to see from this is people become jaded in their response to times where their help is necessary.
I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Covenant Grocery Group seeks to directly support organizations and agencies that are fighting the global battle against human trafficking. They do this through funding, procuring, and advocating. You can go to covenantrescue.org for further details. They need your donations, guys. Hop on and donate.
The Mobile County Sheriff's Office confirms that a former priest who was recently defrocked by the Mobile Archdiocese is currently in the country of Italy. Alex Crow is not alone. He traveled to Italy with a young woman. That woman told Mobile Sheriff Paul Birch that she traveled of her own free will with Crow and that there is no romantic relationship going on there. Birch says that after an investigation into the situation, there does not appear to be any criminal charges to be issued against Crow. A child has died by gunfire at an apartment complex in Prattville. Investigators say the 7-year-old boy was handling the gun himself when the firearm discharged. An investigation into the case is underway. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Looking for a new career with flexible hours, competitive pay, generous paid time off, and countless benefits? Then visit us at our job fair for the Riverside Marketplace at Wind Creek, Wetumpka from 2 to 7 p.m. on Tuesdays, August 15th and 22nd, and Thursday, September 7th at the Entertainment Center. Can't make it? No problem. You can also visit our Career Center at Wind Creek, Wetumpka from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. Kickstart your new career today.
What'll it be, Joe?
Coffee and apple pie. Whoa, Madge, what was that?
The lights? Oh, they always dim when the dishwasher turns on.
You should call Crosby Electric.
You think?
Overloaded circuits at your business can be dangerous. The experts at Crosby Electric can upgrade your electrical service to safely handle the load. And they can add receptacles where needed to eliminate overuse of extension cords.
Madge, I'd like to pay you. The problem is it's so dark in here I can't read my bill.
No, the problem is you're cheap.
Well, that's a problem too.
Effective, attractive lighting is essential for any business. Crosby Electric can help with a new lighting scheme that will give your business a fresh, exciting look, and they can recommend outdoor lighting for greater safety and security.
That'll be $4.50 for the coffee and pie, Joe.
Well, don't I get anything for recommending Crosby Electric?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Don't put off essential electrical upgrades for your business. Call 272-2085 or visit crosbyelectric.com.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark, flying solo for the final hour of the program. And, people were bringing up young people. And the common conventional wisdom, and it's been this way for a while, is that young people tend to be liberal. Like, what is it? If you're not a liberal when you're young, you have no heart. And if you're not a conservative when you're older, you have no brain. Well, it sounds like something a conservative came up with. But there's actually been a flip in trends when it comes to young people. Gen Z, 12th graders in particular, are the ones in question. And so if we go to this story here in Red State, but they're actually basing it off a Hill report, The Hill, Gen Z high school boys are becoming increasingly conservative. As with many Reddit posts and viral tweets, the truth was more complicated, but the numbers do say this. 12th grade boys are nearly twice as likely to identify as conservative versus liberal, according to a respected federal survey of American youth. In annual surveys over the last 3 years, roughly 1/4 of high school seniors self-identified as conservative or quote-unquote very conservative on the Monitoring the Future survey, a scholarly endeavor that dates to the 1970s. Only 13% of boys identify as liberal or very liberal in those years. The figures represent a striking shift in the political views of boys. As recently as the late 2000s, liberal boys occasionally outnumber conservatives. Back in the Carter era, both boys and girls leaned liberal. But you can see there on that chart, if you're watching the live stream, the divergence there between conservative identification and liberal identification of 12th grade boys across the country. But, of course, meanwhile, it's almost like they're driving a wedge between the sexes. But meanwhile, high school girls are trending to the left at around the same pace, according to The Hill. Nowadays, it is girls who are drifting to the left. The share of 12th grade girls who identify as liberal rose from 19% in 2012 to 30% in 2022. Only 12% of girls identified as conservative in last year's survey administered by the University of Michigan. Now, why is this happening? It has people scratching their heads, and the best they can come up with is to blame Trump and video games. But looking at the socio-political landscape, we can make an educated guess as to what's happening. If you tell someone they aren't welcome and deride them constantly, they'll eventually go where they're more appreciated. Again, that sounds like good logic, but this is from Brandon Morse there at Red State. I think he's on to something there. He goes on, he says, the Democrat Party, which invests heavily in modern feminist ideals, has reiterated its disdain for men and masculinity repeatedly. In an age where boys are being inundated by the leftist narrative that they're just awful for being boys, they're naturally going to migrate to places and people who don't look at them as defective. As such, boys are listening to people like Joe Rogan, Tim Pool, Ben Shapiro, and more. Boys have effectively migrated out of the bubble the Democrats attempted to set for them, and as such, messaging from other sources is reaching them more easily. You can even see this happening in the entertainment sector, where the quote-unquote toxic masculinity of Japanese manga and anime has now outstripped the American industry by leaps and bounds. Because they're actually telling great stories. I don't think it has anything to do with leading into masculinity. Maybe it does. But I think they just are making good stories in that world. But just by looking at the way high school girls of the same age are drifting leftward, we can see that the political outlook on the sexes plays out. Women and girls are heralded as wonderful and great by the left, and everything the Democrat Party does is for their benefit, so they claim. Naturally, girls are going to migrate towards the party that gives them the warmest welcome, and so they go there. Being so young, these political preferences may shift and change by the day, but if this trend continues, it's not going to mean too much good for Democrats. For one, people do tend to become more conservative as they get older, and the idealism of youth is replaced by the reality of being a grown-up. Yes, folks, maturing means giving up your ideals. Gotta love that definition. Secondly, while many women may become and stay leftist well into their adulthood, many women end up voting the way their husbands do, and seldom the other way around. So if the Democrats continue to push away men, then men will find themselves pulling the levers for Republicans. Should women marry those men, they will statistically pull the lever for Republicans too. I think that's a big if, or hypothetical. Should women marry those men? I believe there was another study that 2 out of 5 young people believe marriage is antiquated. So I wouldn't bet on everybody getting hitched. But who knows? Sometimes hormones do the job for you. 272-9228. But it's, I think, healthy at the end of the day to see these shifting trends. And when you look at how young people are more affected than anybody else, especially by these latest cultural, social trends, some might call them social contagion, well, it's harrowing to see what some folks go through. And it's even more harrowing when you realize that people are going through hell and the folks perpetrating it think they're being compassionate. I didn't get to this last week. This was testimony last week. We've read her story on these airwaves before, but I'm sure and hope y'all are familiar with the name Chloe Cole. And honestly, I don't have much more to say other than, well, here is Chloe Cole. She tells her own story. Does it better than I ever could. So let's all listen in together. This is in front of Congress last week.
Another way to put that would be, I used to believe that I was born in the wrong body. And the adults in my life whom I trusted affirmed my belief, and this caused me lifelong, irreversible harm. I speak to you today as a victim of one of the biggest medical scandals in the history of the United States of America. I speak to you in the hope that you will have the courage to bring the scandal to an end and ensure that other vulnerable teenagers, children, and young adults don't go through what I went through. At the age of 12, I began to experience what my medical team would later diagnose as gender dysphoria. I was well into an early puberty, and I was very uncomfortable with the changes that were happening to my body. I was intimidated by male attention, and when I told my parents that I felt like a boy, in retrospect, all I meant was that I hated puberty, that I wanted this newfound sexual attention to go away, that I looked up to my brothers a little bit more than I did to my sisters. I came out as transgender in a letter I sent on the dining room table. My parents were immediately concerned. They felt like they needed to get outside help from medical professionals, but this proved to be a mistake. It immediately set our entire family down a path of ideologically motivated deceit and coercion. The gender specialist I was taken to see told my parents that I needed to be put on puberty-blocking drugs right away. They asked my parents a simple question: would you rather have a dead daughter or a living transgender son? The choice was enough for my parents to let their guard down, and in retrospect, I can't blame them. This was the moment that we all became victims of so-called gender-affirming care. I was fast-tracked onto puberty blockers and then testosterone. The resulting menopausal-like hot flashes made focusing on school impossible. I still get joint pains and weird pops in my back, but they were far worse when I was on the blockers. A month later, when I was 13, I had my first testosterone injection. It's caused permanent changes to my body. My voice will forever be deeper, my jawline sharper, my nose longer, my bone structure permanently masculinized, my Adam's apple more prominent, my fertility unknown. I look in the mirror sometimes and I feel like a monster. I had a double mastectomy at 15. They tested my amputated breast for cancer. And I was cancer-free, of course. I was perfectly healthy. There was nothing wrong with my still developing body or my breasts, other than that, as an insecure teenage girl, I felt awkward about it. After my breasts were taken away from me, the tissue was incinerated. Before I was able to legally drive, I had a huge part of my future womanhood taken from me. I will never be able to breastfeed. I struggle to look at myself in the mirror at times. I still struggle to this day with sexual dysfunction. And I have massive scars across my chest. And the skin grafts that they took of my nipples are weeping fluid today. And they were grafted into a more masculine positioning, they said. After surgery, my grades in school plummeted. Everything that I went through did nothing to address my underlying mental health issues that I had. And my doctors, with their theories on gender, thought that all my problems would go away as soon as I was surgically transformed into something that vaguely resembled a boy. Their theories were wrong. The drugs and surgeries changed my body, but they did not and could not change the basic reality that I am and forever will be a female. When my specialist first told my parents that they could have a dead daughter or a live transgender son, I wasn't suicidal. I was a happy child who struggled because she was different. However, at 16, after my surgery, I did become suicidal. I'm doing better now, but my parents almost got the dead daughter promised to them by my doctors. My doctors had almost created the very nightmare they said they were trying to avoid. So what message do I want to bring to American teenagers and their families? I didn't need to be lied to. I needed compassion. I needed to be loved. I needed to be given therapy to help me work through my issues, not affirm to my delusion that by transforming into a boy, it would solve all my problems. We need to stop telling 12-year-olds that they were born wrong, that they are right to reject their own bodies and feel uncomfortable with their own skin. We need to stop telling children that puberty is an option, that they can choose what kind of puberty they will go through, just so they can choose what clothes to wear or what music to listen to. Puberty is a rite of passage to adulthood, not a disease to be mitigated. Today, I should be at home with my family celebrating my 19th birthday, and instead I'm making a desperate plea to my elected representatives. Learn the lessons from other medical scandals like the opioid crisis, to recognize that doctors are human too, and sometimes they are wrong. My childhood was ruined along with thousands of detransitioners that I know through our networks. This needs to stop. You alone can stop it. Enough children have already been victimized by this barbaric pseudoscience. Please let me be your final warning. Thank you.
Again, folks, that's Chloe Cole. Now, I've shared her story before, but I don't think I would be ever able to share it like that. 272-9228. And, you know, I've actually a sponsor of this part of the program is Montgomery Men's Health. And when I first was working with them, they wanted to get to know me before I started talking about them on these airwaves. So I went by there, got to meet the doctors and a lot of the folks, nurses and just attendants and folks working there. And then they said, hey, you want to do a test, a quick blood draw for testosterone? I said, sure. They came back in like they had seen a ghost. They're like, you feel all right, man? I'm like, well, I always feel like crap. And then the next question was, you still want to have kids? I'm like, yeah, I'd like to leave the door open there. So they've put me on a more light touch course of testosterone therapy. And I'm now a year into that, and it's worked wonders. All the things we talk about, better gains in the gym, more energy, better libido, improved sleep patterns, all of that's true. I've often said I can't imagine giving that to a teenage girl like you just heard there from Chloe Cole. But I know for me personally as a dude, as a man, I feel more like a man now that I've gotten my testosterone right. And here's the deal. There are a lot of men. Of course, when you get in your 40s, 50s, 60s, you start to lose testosterone production. That's a natural thing, but some men want to keep that edge even as they're getting older. But especially, there is an epidemic of folks in their 20s and 30s, young men, who don't have high testosterone levels. It's really, they're wondering, is it environmental? Is it microplastics? Is it drug abuse? What is it? That is a huge problem. So if you do find out that I'm feeling like crap all the time, I don't have energy, I don't have motivation, I feel kind of listless mentally, I'm not sleeping well, I don't ever find myself in the mood, I have no sex drive to speak of, and you're in your 20s or 30s and feeling that way, you need to go by Montgomery Men's Health and have them at least test you out. It's only $99, about an hour, you can know your testosterone numbers. You can also get a PSA score. It's a great marker for prostate health, a lot less intrusive than what Eddie's going through, probably as we speak. You hear him? Anyway, y'all call up Montgomery Men's Health today. Make an appointment. 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com. And be sure to tell them, well, you heard about him here on News and Views in the afternoon. We'll be right back after this.
Joey Clark.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group. How to finance your next home. Many people that could qualify and afford a home sometimes stay on the sidelines and rent versus buying, or delay moving up to a bigger, nicer home because of financing. The first fear first home homebuyers have is the concern about down payment needed to buy a home. Well, the good news is the state of Alabama has many different programs to help enable first-time homebuyers to buy a home with very little down payment through the Alabama Home Finance Authority. Third, veterans, active duty personnel, National Guardsmen have the VA that can help them buy with no money down and with reasonable rates. Also, many local lenders have in-house programs and conventional type loans that help people get into a house now. If you wait to buy a house for a lower rate, the prices of homes, even modest homes, have seen price increases every year for the last 3 years. For all the details, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group at 221-2883.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. If you're watching the live stream, well, you know what's coming. Talk of sex. No, not like that, you perverts. I'll put it this way. When you started to see a certain group of people turn on the transgender ideology, which, you know, I've got family members that are in the medical community, family members that are in the medical community in the sense that they're therapists in that capacity. And they vehemently disagree with my point of view. Joey, you're not thinking through this whole gender-affirming care. I mean, we're looking at the latest standards coming from the Pediatric Association, and, you know, we never would do the things like, well, what Chloe Cole just testified to in Congress, and alluded to thousands more like her who were affirmed, and then they went through hell. It is not what they needed. It seemed extreme. And it takes somebody who's overeducated, who buys into the system, to buy into this crap, in my humble opinion. I think it's often outsiders who say, wait, that seems over the top. Wait, you're going to do what to somebody's body, and that's going to fix a mental issue? All right, man. But a certain group has started to turn on this transgender ideology. And that particular group, and you know these folks are in trouble, are British scientists. That's nothing more of a buzzkill, especially when it comes to political ideologies or the latest social fads or contagions, than for British scientists to talk about transgenderism. And of all people, well-known atheist, believe, evolutionary biologist Richard Dawkins was just interviewed on this whole transgender thing. Now, Richard Dawkins, because of his atheism and so many of his other points of views, always seemed to be on the left, right? Well, it seems he's coming back home to the science. Let's listen in together. You always know that, well, your American ballyhoo is about to be upset by some uppity Brit. Let's listen into Richard, Sir Richard.
Sex really is binary, there's no question about it. You're either male or female, and it's absolutely clear. You can do it on gamete size, you can do it on chromosomes. To me, as a biologist, distinctly weird. People can simply declare, I am a woman, though I have a penis. Helen, what do you think lies behind this odd distortion of reality?
Please, tell us, Helen.
I would say that when I started to write about it first, I quickly realised that this wasn't treated the same way as anything else. Like just asking very obvious questions, like, don't you think that if we allow people to self-identify their sex, this will lead to, for example, destroying women's sports or putting rapists in women's jails? People would turn this back on me and say, you think that trans people are predators, you're a bigot. What we were talking about here was an intensely linguistic movement. There isn't a sense in which a man can become a woman, except linguistically. Like, yes, okay, he can have operations. Most trans people don't have any operations, don't take any medicine. But that doesn't change your sex.
No, it doesn't. And again, you're a bigot. It's like the way people throw around these terms, like transphobe or homophobia or racist or misogynist, whatever. And, you know, sometimes the bra fits. But not all the time. And I find it fascinating how quick certain folks are to say in a bigoted fashion that somebody else is a bigot. There really does need to be a movement, whether it's British or Irish scientists and activists or Americans or anybody in this world. I don't care if it's Russian or Chinese or even Iranian. There needs to be a movement of folks that say, shut up, child. This is the grown-ups table. You'll speak when you're spoken to. Because the way you're speaking is that of a child in fantasy land. And, well, how could that be a problem? Well, to be childlike isn't necessarily a problem. It means you still have that innocence, a little bit of it left. You're not completely jaded and thrown to the wind. But to be childish, to believe that your fantasies must be reaffirmed by everybody else, isn't just going to be foolish and childish. It will lead to very dark places. It is not loving or compassionate to put a kid through hell like they did with Chloe Cole. It's not loving or compassionate as a doctor to say, well, you're either going to have your daughter go through this transition or she's going to kill herself. That's not compassionate. It's not compassionate to have people living on the streets by the thousands who are either insane and mentally, well, lacking, for one reason or another, drug abuse, and so many other awful things happening. It's not compassionate for you to just let them live in that squalor. None of this is compassionate. And again, we can create all the bureaucracies we want. We can create all the therapies we want. Pass all the laws. Talk about the Constitution until you're blue in the face. But when you start to realize that there are things maybe deeper than politics, and certainly a hell of a lot deeper than the latest peer-reviewed science. Yeah, the one thing Chloe Cole said where she said, they said, oh, if you don't do this, you're going to get a suicidal daughter. Well, they almost created the thing they were trying to prevent, kind of like that virus that just, swept over the world. Well, we need to go and get the bat guana from the caves and study these viruses and soup them up to where they could infect humans so that if it ever does happen naturally, we're ahead of the curve somehow. A lot of scientists said, are you sure you want to do that? Well, yeah, we want to do that. We're going to get a bunch of funding for it. Why not do it? We'll do it in China. Nobody will know. We keep going down blind alleys. And yes, compassion, charity, love is a virtue. One of the Christian three, no doubt. But there are other virtues involved in this wide world of ours. Things like prudence or wisdom. Things like temperance. Things like justice. Things like courage. And if you don't have faith and hope that somebody can survive and rise above their station, rise above the difficulties and the suffering in life, then what the hell good is your love and your charity if you think it's all going to hell? We've lost our damn balance. And really, I think it's because politics has taken over everything. And in politics and the spectacle we call American democracy, instead of actually embodying virtue, virtue's just another thing to throw out as a show and a sordid signal so you can be part of the club that's powerful and be regarded as a good person by those online and in your community. Yeah. Everybody thinks they're a good person, right? I think we're going to look back on some of this stuff, especially what Chloe Cole went through, and, well, this is going to be an embarrassing moment. And if I can find it here in a second, I got to hit another break. A quote that keeps coming back to my mind, because it speaks to me, because if I'm being brutally honest with you, when I look in the mirror, much like I'm looking into this camera right now, I think the virtue I need to work on is courage, as well as faith. I'm at the hope part, and I'm trying to expose myself to new things so I can build that courage up. But one thing I would often do in my life is say, well, the time isn't right. The fruit isn't ripe. So let's bide our time until the moment is perfect. Come on, guys. The moment is never perfect. It's never perfect at all. There's always been war and pillaging and suffering and cheating and lying and sin. We are depraved, aren't we? But we're also able to do incredible things. And I think if we start to get our own personal houses in order, then the nation's house in order. And it's not by showing off in front of the camera on a radio show like this. It's by doing those things when nobody else is looking, where you're be a hero maybe to one or two or three people. That's the most folks get in this life, and it's worth every person you help and inspire. It's a shame what we're doing, but I think we can change direction. 272-9228. Now, speaking of following your dreams, at Dylan Rings, great sponsor of the program, if you can dream it, Josh Ryder, that custom designer there at Dylan Rings, Josh Ryder can make that dream a reality. They really do remarkable work over there. Josh literally dreamed up a design. Some guy came in the next day and said, I really like that. Can you make that into a pendant or something? And he did. It's really incredible what he can do. Say you've got an heirloom, like a family heirloom's just passed on to you. It's a little outdated in terms of the fashion and the style, but you want to keep it and you want to keep that in the family and you want to wear it. Well, it could be that Josh maybe updates it. So it's still that same basic heirloom that you inherited, but it's a little more stylish. It's a little more up to date. Could be you want to commemorate a loved one. Maybe you lost a parent or a child, or maybe you want to celebrate with folks that you love. Well, they can make specialty jewelry just for that. And don't forget the permanent jewelry. Eddie and I got it put on there. It's very manly, right? To, kind of as a joke, but also really to showcase our friendship. It's really cool. It stays on there, and it's great for parties. They can actually come to you, and you solder on this piece of jewelry, and you can actually add charms and whatever you like, but great for baby showers, wedding showers, just get-together parties. Maybe you got a softball team. I don't know. There's all sorts of ways Dylan Rings can help you out and help you have fun with jewelry. So check them out today. You can always go to DylanRings.com or give them a call at 215-3669. That's 215-3669. The best way to work with Josh and Leslie Ryder is to stop by 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway, a little before Taylor Road, where the old fun zone used to be before it was blown down while I was working there. You'll see it there. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie that Joey from News and Views sent you. More news and views. Well, after this, I'm going to try to find that quote that keeps sticking in my mind. It was C.S. Lewis, but it was brought up by Douglas Murray, and I think it'd be good to hear it in Douglas's own words. It's a point that, you hear something and it always comes back. Maybe it's something approximating meaning. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Are we loco at Marguerite's? Oh, yeah. Yes, we are. We've lost our mind at Marguerite's. We're doing polish, rhodium, and inspection of rings only, till August 5th for no charge. Now, everyone else charges $150 to $300. We charge $65 to $100. But forget about that. Bring in up to 5 rings. Doesn't matter if they're from Marguerite's, not. Doesn't matter if you ever shopped at Marguerite's or not. It's real quiet. There's no small print on this. Just trying to create a little traffic at Marguerite's. Till August 5th. Bring in your old rings. Let us make them look like new.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. Did you know the current national average turn time to close on a mortgage is 48 business days? But not at Alabama Home Mortgage. At Alabama Home Mortgage, our average close time is 16 business days. That's a month faster than the rest. How do we do it? With over 60 years of combined experience in the industry. Our team knows mortgages. Our years of experience yield a better experience for our customers. Folks, time is money. Whether you're looking to buy or refi, don't waste time with another mortgage company, bank, or credit union. We close on time, every time. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our fast turn time is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
We've all been caught up in the little chores that pile up every day. The dishes in the sink, the trash that needs taking out, the pesky check engine winner. A little change can go a long way when you escape every day at Wing Creek Casino and on the Casinoverse app.
Hey, this is Lyle from Margaret's Exquisite Jewelry, and I do my radio advertising on Blue Water. I'll tell you what, I use most of the stations, and I've been using it for so long. It's hard to tell with the money you spend on advertising if it does any good. When they come in and say, I heard you on the radio, I know it's Blue Water, and I love Blue Water.
Blue Water Broadcasting is the #1 most listened to radio group in the River region. Find out how to put this reach to work for your business. Call us to find out how we can help. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Are we loco at Marguerite's? Oh, yeah. Yes, we are. We've lost our mind at Marguerite's. We're doing polish, rhodium, and inspection of rings only, till August 5th for no charge. Now, everyone else charges $150 to $300. We charge $65 to $100. But forget about that. Bring in up to 5 rings. Doesn't matter if they're from Marguerite's, not. Doesn't matter if you ever shopped at Marguerite's or not. It's real quiet. There's no small print on this. Just trying to create a little traffic at Marguerite's. Till August 5th. Bring in your old rings. Let us make them look like new.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, serving the River region with the best quality building materials for decades. Contractor to do-it-yourselfer. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We've got some temporarily good news. The humidity level is coming down for at least a day or two. I mean, it's still going to be a hot day. We're up to about 97 today, but a nice break with dew points in the 50s this afternoon. That's going to feel good. So mostly sunny. We should be dry today and tomorrow. Tonight's low 73, Wednesday's high 96. Then back to the normal humidity levels again by Thursday and Friday, with scattered storms returning, and back to triple-digit heat indices as well. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors & More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors & More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I believe I found the clip and the quote I was looking for. Play that in a second. But first, Steve has been patient. Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Hey, Joey. I just wanted to comment on an article that I just read a few minutes ago. You may have seen it. You're talking about, all these different things that are going on in the world. Well, there was a warehouse found in a small town just east of Fresno, California today that's owned by a company called Biotech Industries. That is a Chinese-owned company. This place was full of samples of COVID, herpes, let's see, what else? There was 2 or 3 different deadly diseases that they found, as well as hundreds of infected white mice, as well as hundreds of dead mice throughout this entire warehouse. And the people that own it, the place was supposedly abandoned. There was nobody there. But the people that own it are in Nevada. And they will not even talk to the authorities, the FBI. They won't talk to anybody. Now, it's my opinion that if you are a Chinese citizen, you're here on a Chinese passport, but you have no connection to the United States, they ought to pack your butt up and send you back to China, plain and simple. These people are invading our country. And before we know it, they're going to take over.
Well, it's getting to that point. And, no, I did see that story. And to see the sort of, it's amazing. In one breath, it's amazing to see the advances in biomedicine where we really could be on the cusp of curing things like cancer. But then another way, it's creating all sorts of nightmares at the same time. When you mention those mice, it's because they can humanize mice. They can make their cells react just like ours. And it's have it in an unsecured way like that. We're just asking for trouble. And yeah, for too long, the elite in this country and government and private industry decided, hey, we can just offshore to China, whether it's jobs or research or whatever it is. And that day needs to come to an end now. And, I was dragged kicking and screaming like a lot of other folks by, guess who? Donald Trump. And yet now he's the big bad guy, even though everybody has now changed their mind all of a sudden about China. I think it's Trump's doing.
Well, the thing that bothers me the most is this facility, had it not been for a health inspector, would never have been exposed.
Yeah.
He noticed a garden hose with water coming out of it connected to the side of the building, which was supposed to be unoccupied. And when he went to investigate, that's what he found.
Man. Well, at least he found it, because I think we dodged another bullet there. I appreciate the call, Steve.
All right, thank you, buddy.
272-9228. We'll go out here with, I did find this clip. It is Douglas Murray. Let's make it a little bigger. And Douglas, this was at the National Conservatism Conference, I believe they did in the UK. It's the end of his speech. The whole speech is worth watching. I really appreciate Douglas Murray's work and his voice here. And so let's listen in, because he's not using his own words. He's actually quoting the great C.S. Lewis. And he brought this up in the sense that he kept traveling from, whether it's the UK or France or Germany, or Douglas Murray's mostly been in the United States. The classic story of a British author and writer coming to tour the U.S. And he said as he's traveled around the world and around the United States, he often finds young conservative people who are demoralized. And they keep saying to themselves, well, now is not the time to strike or to come up with new ideas, and now is not the time to present just now is not the right time. There's too many problems going on right now. Well, that's what spurred Douglas to find this quote and bring it forth, and I appreciate him for doing it. Let's listen in together.
But this is what C.S. Lewis said in the autumn of 1939. Human life has always been lived on the edge of a precipice. Human culture has always had to exist under the shadow of something infinitely more important than itself. If man had postponed the search for knowledge and beauty until they were secure, the search would never have begun. Life has never been normal. Even those periods which we think most tranquil, like the 19th century, turn out, on closer inspection, to be full of crises, alarms, difficulties, emergencies. Plausible reasons have never been lacking for putting off all merely cultural activities until some imminent danger has been averted or some crying injustice put right. But humanity, long ago, chose to neglect those plausible reasons. They wanted knowledge and beauty, and they wanted them now, and they would not wait for the suitable moment that never comes. Periclean Athens leaves us not only the Parthenon, but significantly the funeral oration. The insects have chosen a different line. They have sought first the material welfare and the security of the hive, and presumably they can enjoy their reward.
Indeed.
But men are different. They propound mathematical theorems in beleaguered cities. They conduct metaphysical arguments in condemned cells, make jokes on scaffolds, discuss the last new poem whilst advancing to the walls of Quebec, and comb their hair at the gates of Thermopylae. This is not panache. It is our nature. I would like to think that we can heed the words of C.S. Lewis in far less propitious times.
Well said. Better than most could ever come up with. You don't have to come up with words like that, but you can live them. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Looking for insurance, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your current carrier? How does quality coverage with local service and competitive rates sound to you? The folks at Stark Agency offer just that. Whether you need insurance for your business, car, home, or life, Stark Agency can help. As an independent insurance agency with over 20 of the top insurance carriers, Stark is sure to find the perfect match for you and your loved ones. Visit their site at starkagency.com or give them a call at 334-263-5535 for a quote today.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Closing moments, final shopping minutes of News and Views in the afternoon. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Ray Bowles of Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Oh, we're doing good. Can I leave y'all with some final thoughts of wisdom for the day?
Sure.
If you need floors, call Prattville Carpet.
Profound.
That's it.
And accurate.
That's sound advice. Very sound advice.
Y'all still do the free measurements and consultations? You'll come to people?
We do. Matter of fact, it's just me and Dad sitting here staring at each other because everybody else is out measuring. So give us a call today, 285-8117. Get that free measurement. Next thing you know, you got a floor down. Just that simple.
285-8117, folks. And when you call 285-8117, be sure to tell them that, well, you heard Ray Bowles here, the very wise man who's going to get you taken care of on the radio. Appreciate it, Ray.
Guys, have a great day.
272-9228. If you want to get some parting shots in, we got about 3 minutes left. Before I forget, this part of the program also brought to you by XI Repair. Tell you what, Jonathan Strange did not wait to start that great business. I think he was fixing his own devices, then started fixing his friends. He was doing this in high school. Back when it was still called Lee or something, Lee High School. And he realized, hey, I don't have to keep meeting folks in the parking lot at Mickey D's or Walmart. Why don't I just start a business? And it's grown into XI Repair. Of course, they can help you fix those smartphones. Maybe it's a cracked screen or battery not holding a charge, water damage of any kind. It could be your phone has a virus. It's just on the fritz. It's acting all sorts of funky and weird. XI Repair can most likely fix it. Oh, and by the way, if they can't fix something, they're a no-fix, no-fee shop, so no worries there. In fact, they'll probably give you advice on your next steps. That doesn't happen often, though, because they can do laptop, desktop computers, top-end gaming consoles like PlayStation 5s. They can sell you brand new smartphones. They can even do data recovery, not just from old hard drives, but say your soon-to-be ex-husband, that bastard, he tried to delete text messages that would have incriminated him. Well, they can recover that there at XI Repair. Have your attorney reach out to them. So check them out today. That's XI Repair. You can always go to xirepair.com. You can even start a job online, get an immediate quote, or you can always call them at 777-1234. That's 777-1234. And be sure to tell those fine folks there at XI Repair that you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. Tell them Joey and Eddie sent you. Let's go to line one, see who this is. You're on there. Who's this?
Joseph, this is Samantha.
Hi,
I just wanted to say I'm lonely.
Yeah?
And I miss you.
Yeah, what the hell is wrong with you?
I treasure our time from noon to 3 every day.
You're freaking me out, man.
Light up my life. You give me hope to carry on. And on that note, I will carry on. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. See what I deal with here? Try to prepare a radio show that's somewhat literate, and I get calls like that. Love you, Sam. Call again. Well, I'm going to get out of here because Happy Hour with Greg Budell, well, he's next. Look forward to being back. Tomorrow we'll kick things off, I think, as usual, with Jeff Poore of 1819 News. Also, Parker Snyder of 1819 News. And, well, if y'all didn't see it, go to 1819news.com. There's a story. Steve Bannon, of all folks, giving a shout-out to Jeff Poore in 1819 News. And well-deserved, mind you. Y'all stay tuned for Happy Hour, though. Greg is next.